Toot, 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 toot. Where's my man Lambo?
Hallo.
Hallo, hallo. Wie geht es dir?
Very well. It's going very well.
Shaking in your boots yet for Switzerland or Denmark? Sorry.
We got Denmark.
Yeah, I know.
It's easy. It's easy.
All right. I am at 3, 11, 12, 13.
Yeah, same.
All right.
Exact same.
Perfect. We've got SKillous in the bottom left, is ShoWTimE in the bottom left, top right. Why is my... one sec, I have the wrong overlay. It's okay, you go. I need to swap accounts.
This is very interesting because it's actually on Dynasty, and I haven't seen a lot of PvP on this map, but both players are expanding forward. I'd assume it's very difficult to take the gold base first, since your opponent obviously has the adepts and can just shade behind the gold base, harass from there, even just stalkers behind it. You kind of would need your entire army in front of it or have map control somehow. So it makes sense that both of them are expanding forward. I'm interested to see where they take their third base. So far everything is very, very normal. SKillous open, 2 stalker, into sentry, and then both of them just went for a fast expansion. ShoWTimE went stalker sentry right away. Not really much of a difference, both going blink.
It's been a difficult season for D Mauer in the WTL code. It hasn't really worked out for him yet. But he's also had to play a lot of games on US West, right, against the Chinese players. And I think those games, like, obviously they matter, but it's also hard to really bring your A game. ShoWTimE looked fantastic at the Home Story Cup. I know that you were on a little trip, Lambo. How was that little holiday? Was it great?
The holiday was fantastic. I was just working with the dogs was fun, and also the entire mountains were beautiful. A lot of mountains, a lot of forests, so yeah.
Did you stay in Germany or did you guys go abroad?
It was in Germany. It was still in Bavaria. It was like a 2-hour drive.
All right, fair enough. I'm sure that as a proper Starcraft 2 nerd, you had the stream open every now and then or check Liquipedia. And ShoWTimE had one hell of a run, eh?
Yeah, I did, exactly. I could even watch the finals because I was home Sunday evening. So the finals were pretty sick to watch. And in general, obviously not the most Zerg. So for me, it was not so much for learning experience and more just from a viewer, entertainment perspective. I was watching just like everyone else.
And the finals was a banger, eh?
It was a real banger, yeah. Some great games.
Turbo banger. Proper heartbreak for D Mauer. It was up 3-1 and things looked so good. If any of you guys are watching this live or watching the VOD missed Game 5 of the Home Story Cup finals between ShoWTimE and Gummio, you absolutely have to go back and watch it. I think a serious candidate for Game of the Year. Even if it's painful, right? But the epic games always have painful moments.
They always do, yeah. Most of them are back and forth. Back and forth only happens if there's mistakes being made. So it is always, those are the biggest bangers, are the ones that go back and forth. Have some errors in there and some comebacks, some flashy moments, and I think that game had all of that.
These two still kind of mirroring each other, both of them getting a robo, +1 is on the way. SKillous a little bit quicker, going into Zealot charge. I will keep an eye on that. Other than that, I feel like we're dead even. Hey, that means 6 minutes into Dynasty.
Yeah, super even. What do you think about the Blink meta? Because I know Harrison prefers Robo very often, and I see him do pretty well with Robo first against the Blink openers. But everyone else seems to just be playing Blink.
Yeah, I think Robo is very powerful, but I think it's very map dependent. Because there are some maps where it's just incredibly hard as Blink Stalker player to slow down those move outs, right? When they move out with a couple sentries, couple basic gateway units and immortals. And if then the Robo player can even either take a great fight and win, or they can out-expand you, it's going to be very difficult. But I think on a map like Dynasty, there are so many different ways to attack your opponent that I understand neither of them goes Robo first here. Because A, I think you could be in some trouble against Stargate play. And B, I don't think it's as good on this map as it would be on Ghost River or Crimson Court, because I feel like there's many possibilities to slow them down, snipe the War Prism, blink 4 Stalkers into a mineral line right, kill 10 probes and recall them out of there. So on this map, I think Blink makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the first little trades going on right now. 2 adepts go down for a probe. Not much to see here. This is the first deviation. SKillous is taking the gold base, which is obviously more harassable, but you also mine more from it. Whereas ShoWTimE just takes the forward fort base.
Mm-hmm. Reynor is saying that why are you asking the dude that goes target into Robo since 2011?
Because he watches more PvP than me, I'm pretty sure. He knows this stuff.
+2 on the way for SKillous. Obviously, it's important for ShoWTimE to stay on top of those upgrades. As Nikita is confident that he can move out. A forward blink gets on top of the Nexus. This is bad news for ShoWTimE if he's going to be forced to cancel it. And he is forced to cancel it. If I was SKillous at this point, I would almost say I'm happy with what I got here already. Slow it down a little bit. And by the time that ShoWTimE tries to take it again, then you go once more. Instead, he's going to try to get every... This is a bit weird, no?
This is a bit weird, yeah. He doesn't really need to do a whole lot more. He has the map control now, and he even has a gold base behind it. So, SKillous not making any immortals, he's just staying on mass Stalker Zealot. He wants to be on the map, he wants to force his opponent to be on the defensive while out-mining him. And it's working so far. He's making some moves happen. ShoWTimE now has to expand towards the bottom, which means that his bases are split very, very far apart. His fort base super far away from his main.
Yep, this is going to be very difficult for Demauer, especially because SKillous has now once more loaded up that Prism. This army is nothing that we really have to worry about anymore, but if 12 Zealots show up in our main and our entire army is on the low ground, it does become hard. It's also hard for ShoWTimE, I think, to keep track of that main army in the center of the map. We have a mix between Zealots and Stalkers here, but SKillous is just going to get on top of the 4th base once more. And that is back-to-back cancels, and he might even get a few pylons here.
Yeah. Overall, very good stuff for SKillous. Barely any resources lost yet, which means you have to favor the guy with a gold base and an extra base.
Yeah. However, PvP definitely is a matchup if the armies look like this, that even when you're down a base, if you get close to maxing out, it really doesn't have to be the end, right? Because it will come down to who takes a better fight. And ShoWTimE's army, I would say, is a little bit better at the moment. SKillous, I'm sure, knows that, so he's probably looking for a chaotic rolling fight where the Zealots can find surface area. Nice little W here for ShoWTimE as he guns down that Prism. You know, I don't even hate it that much for ShoWTimE at the moment.
That's true. His standing army is definitely better. He has some Immortals mixed in. He also has some Icons, whereas SKillous doesn't have any of that. So SKillous probably wants to trade at around this point. Because a max out fight, max out versus max out, is going to be rough for him. So either he wants to trade some units away now and not let ShoWTimE get maxed out, or he wants to split up his army and get favorable trades that way.
And SKillous, by the way, never started +3 attack, while his +2 was actually quicker. So even though SKillous is richer, ShoWTimE really doesn't look that bad here. He's down a couple workers, but he has a bigger army, he's got a better army. SKillous is now going to try to create some chaos, but Demauer is pretty confident, I think, in PvPs like this. SKillous is just stuck, man. He really didn't take any additional gases. He hasn't transitioned. What a force field by Demauer. That is 10 Zealots for free. And sure, Stalkers are very good, especially defensively. Nice blink there as he gets the Prism. But he's still going to pay a bit of a price for it. SKillous is going to need more than Stalkers and Zealots to win this game at this point.
Yeah. And he can't build anything besides Stalkers and Zealots for now, because as you said, he's on 3 gas. So he can't afford anything besides that, and ShoWTimE is taking very favorable engagements. Especially the Zealot catch was huge, and now ShoWTimE is merging his armies together, fighting back the Stalkers, and the Stalkers are up against the wall now. They need to blink back towards the base, which is exactly where ShoWTimE wants to engage to begin with, because then the Stalkers have nowhere to run.
The man now drops a Robo Bay and a second Robo, but I'm afraid it's a little bit late, man. If ShoWTimE blinks here and he kills that battery, which is exactly what he does, like, how is ShoWTimE not going to win this fight? I think as long as he keeps on reinforcing and the Immortals can do their thing, he should be okay. Maybe a tiny bit concerned about SKillous backstabbing him, as he is ready to anticipate that War Prism. SKillous is just warping in units, I think, elsewhere. Alright, SKillous survives the scary moment, but I still don't hate it for ShoWTimE.
Yeah, I think ShoWTimE can still attack if he wants to. This is a nice engagement for ShoWTimE as well. Killed a couple of Stalkers. SKillous being
Prism.
a little bit sloppy there, and the Prism...
Blink, one Stalker.
It's gonna go down. Yeah, nice snipe from ShoWTimE. And now he can kill this base as well. He's perfectly in position. And he can even maybe deny some mining. This is gonna be a good catch for SKillous though, catching that War Prism.
Yeah, that's nice, but now SKillous is still gonna indeed have an awkward moment at his gold, and he's gonna have a very awkward moment against this army because he still can't fight it. ShoWTimE's army simply is still bigger and more powerful. There is a battery there. I would have liked to see ShoWTimE maybe just commit on that Nexus, because I really do think that could have been a kill. Instead, he's gonna play it safe. I think losing the Prism scared him a little, but I don't think there's that much to be scared of. However, the longer we wait, the more scary it will become, because Disruptors are gonna do pretty well on the side of SKillous.
Yeah, that is true. ShoWTimE right now, though, is forcing SKillous into him pretty much. I mean, I think SKillous doesn't need to take this fight. I think he
Same.
can let the gold base go down and then just wait for his disruptors to show up, because eventually his army will actually be better than the one of ShoWTimE.
Yeah, but I wouldn't
So
take the fight with only 2 disruptors, though. I think
Yeah,
he should
yeah.
wait. I think 4 is a magical number. Now, revealing the fact that you have disruptors is actually going to make ShoWTimE, I think, a little bit more eager to really put pedal to the metal. I think this is a tiny mistake by SKillous, because I think you're spot on. As long as he doesn't lose any of these Nexi, he doesn't have to commit to anything, but he revealed it too early.
Yeah, I think so too. ShoWTimE is now forcing his way down the ramp, and he's fighting into 3 batteries. I think battery overcharge is still online, so SKillous can press it at the moment that he wants to, but he's just running out of units. There's so little stalkers in front of the disruptors. Only 2 disruptors at the back, 1 fired way too early. Not even gonna get close to connecting onto anything here, and I think ShoWTimE has done it.
Yep, multiple overcharges may be available in the making of this defense, but I haven't seen a single one of them. As 10 workers go down, 1 more disruptor shows up, but I think it's a little bit too late. Those 3 immortals are still fresh, and so far not a single ball connecting, by the way. ShoWTimE showing us some of that liquid Claymore micro. As he lets go of a deep breath. It started to look like our WTL Woos were hunting us once more, but excellent comeback by D Mauer.
Yeah, pretty nice. Elo 461. That's rough.
Yeah, I mean, the Chinese guys did him dirty, man. What can I say? JC.20, that hurts your elo.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We also had, at some point, we had Bjorn's elo lower than TLOs on our team, so it's not always representative of the actual skill level, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think they also seem to think that I'm better than Trigger, which last time I checked, I'm not better than Trigger in anything, not just Starcraft. I can't think of many things. I don't know if you saw his casting at Home Rico, but he did a good job with that as well. So I don't believe that my ELO is higher, period, in anything in life than Trigger, but it's okay. They've got their own ranking system. Turns out beating that potato caster of theirs is good for your stats. Who could have known?
Right. You also beat Crank, right?
Yeah, I beat Crank. Yeah.
Yeah, so no wonder your elo's sky high.
The Roddy stocks, mate. It's never too late to get into them. Thank you to Box, and also big shout out. Sorry, Lambo, I'll do this only once. I'm not going to give shout outs to everyone because I know that's annoying when I have you on call. But if it's Gross Papa, we have to give a shout out, right? Clem is dead. Good luck to your son. Good luck to Team Liquid. We love Team Liquid, but obviously I'm rooting for Basilisk and ShoWTimE. That goes without saying.
Yeah. Personally, I'm rooting for an ace match today. I want to see Serral versus Clem, preferably, or even Reynor versus Clem. It's possible that you guys also pick Reynor. Honestly, if I was on your team, I might just pick Reynor because Clem then has to play with ping, which is something that you can think about.
That is true, but have you seen Reynor play StarCraft lately? Jeez Louise.
Jesus. I think the kids still got it.
Oh, okay.
All
right, good. If you're confident, then I'm confident. Since he's blaming me in chat, he deserves to get one back. Oceanborn, yeah. It would be bad for you guys, though, if it goes to an ace match, because you guys are off to a great start. The Rebellion, you guys are 6-1, I believe. And obviously, if this goes to an ace match, then we both get points. But I guess one of them gets one less point, right?
Yeah, it's just a split. It's difficult to say for us even which scenario would be best, so I'm just cheering for the most games possible, which is the ace match.
Fair enough. Top left side of Oceanborn, it's Team Liquid's SKillous playing from the Netherlands. Bottom right side, it is ShoWTimE representing Berlin International Gaming, but of course here in the WTL Codes, he has teamed up with Basilisk.
Interesting to see that SKillous is losers picking Oceanborn. I see a lot of Protoss losers picking Oceanborn, even against Zerg, which I feel like is just a comfort pick. Like, people feel comfortable on that map. It's super standard, even though it's not necessarily favored for anything. But yeah, maybe Protoss players just like the way it looks. It's underwater, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know what he loves about Oceanborn in PvP. It's a very honest map, I would say. Perhaps the most standard one of them all, even in PvP. So, yeah, maybe he just feels that if he does more of the same, I mean, he can't ignore the fact that he actually got himself in a good position on a weird map like Dynasty. He was just a little bit stubborn, right? Maybe he misread the situation where he thought, hey, I'm on 4 bases, I'm getting a cancel, I'm getting another cancel. And I think you're familiar with this as well, where you're on a basic comp, but you're like, okay, I don't want to transition now because I have the feeling my opponent's going to all in because they're too far behind to play the macro game. And because of that, he was afraid to drop a Templar Archives or that Robo Bay in the second Robo. And he's like, no, I just want to get all my minerals and gas in Zealots and Stalkers, stop his move out and win the game. But if then that move out does not come, you're like, now it's awkward because now his army, even if it's on 3 bases, is freaking massive, and I'm just too far behind tech-wise.
Yeah, I know that moment all too well as a Zerg player. I've had plenty of games where I had that happen against Protoss, where they're on 3 base and I'm on like 5 or 6, and I'm like, no, I can't start a Lurker than in a Hive now, or a Greater Spire in a Hive, and I just stay on Ravager Bane, and they max out and they A-move.
Yeah.
Plus A-move, they remax it. It's a bad feeling, that's for sure. And I also think SKillous is one of those players that, if he does feel like he can just do something better, then he does the same thing, the exact same thing again. Just play standard and try to do the exact same thing better.
I'm very familiar with it in PvT, where I'm like on Zealots and Phoenix, and I was like, okay, I know I need to get Colossus eventually, but I have the feeling that I'm so far ahead, they're gonna pull the boys, and I just need a few more Gava units, but then they don't, and I was like, okay, now I transition, and then right when I transition, I get A-moved anyway. I was like, damn it, either I should have done it sooner or not at all, but that's the beautiful thing about Starcraft, right? Quick robo this time around by SKillous, so he is gonna go the RotterdaM way.
The RotterdaM way, I love it. This is personally what I play as well. I know I played this style against SKillous once with my Protoss, and I didn't think much of it, but I won that game in late game, and just recently, in the most recent event in Dallas, he told me how much he thought that sucked. Losing that game against my off-race, he got really angry. So, taking a page out of, not my book, but realistically a lot of Protoss players have been experimenting this ever since the Sentry got changed.
What I like, by the way, about SKillous' setup here is that he doesn't have a pylon on the low ground, but that actually kind of favors him, because there shouldn't be any world where he loses this Nexus, and you can just buy some time with your gateway units, then you can drop some force fields. Obviously, you don't want to fight with sentries alone, but just a little tickle, bait a little bit, stall some time. Now you can warp in 2 more Stalkers, and 2 Stalkers and 3 sentries can absolutely fight 4 Stalkers.
Yeah, that's really cute. He skipped Stalkers completely, which makes your build order feel so much smoother because you don't spend as many minerals.
So he needs to be careful now, by the way. Sorry that he doesn't get force filled in, but he knows.
Yeah. Do you think there's gonna be glaives here from SKillous? I feel like he's gonna go glaives.
I think he is. It's funny that if he wants to play this build, there it is, the glaives. I feel like there are better maps for it. Like Oceanborn is somewhat similar to Dynasty, where it's large. There are different ways for ShoWTimE to buy time. Like it's never a bad build, but I just feel like if this is what you love to play, why not play Ghost River or Crimson Court?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like in mirror matchups, very often you just feel like it's a feeling-based thing. Like you just like Oceanborn and you then play it. Something like that. Not necessarily as much in ZVZ, unless you're planning on playing standard. But yeah.
ShoWTimE had a couple of pretty epic PvPs at the Home Story Cup, where against SKillous as well. I mean, that game on El Cyane was absolutely bonkers. It's like hold, yes, no. It just never really stopped. ShoWTimE, I'm sure, is still thinking back of those games. He said he knew the SKillous loves glaives, loves the 2 base all in. How is he gonna buy time this time around? I think some extra batteries are nice. It's super important that you don't let the adepts... Oh no, Nikita, not paying attention. That is massive. And you can see it in the camera as well. Nikita tilted immediately. Oh. What a donation there on the Prism. What a snipe by Demauer. But yeah, that was more on SKillous than it truly was on ShoWTimE.
Yeah, you always want to be on the map with the Stalkers because they are faster and they have more range. You can sometimes poke at the adepts and the sentries, and that War Prism is not supposed to lead the charge, that's for sure.
And now there is a chance he's gonna lose the second one as well.
Yeah, ShoWTimE is searching for it. He knows this attack is coming and there needs to be another War Prism, otherwise it doesn't work. So now he's forcing SKillous' way back, kills another sentry, and this is a disaster so far.
Yep.
From SKillous.
I almost want to start celebrating early and say, welcome back, Demauer. We have missed you. It hasn't really been the real ShoWTimE yet in this season of the WTL, but obviously we will continue to believe in him as he's such a good player, and he showed it at the Home Story Cup. This is looking really, really promising. You still need to be careful. There is still a world where it goes wrong if you have a bad blink. But everywhere we look, ShoWTimE is getting little W's, and he's already reducing the unit count. And he's on the hunt for that Prism. That Prism is done, man. Like it's like I don't want to be a part of this push. I'm warping it at depth in the top right. How crazy is that?
Yeah, I have never seen that with an Adept Immortal. And I wonder if he's just going to go for a third Nexus and a Forge, because I feel like this attack is not happening anymore.
Yeah. Maybe if you find good damage here with the Adepts, then you're still going to be somewhat confident. But without a Prism, by the way, you could be in danger at home if you can't micro your Immortals. Don't forget, he has no shield batteries on the low ground. A Sentry gets picked up. One of the barriers is down. ShoWTimE's got a lot of Stalkers there.
Yeah, ShoWTimE's also playing super safe, so he didn't start an upgrade yet himself. He's just messing Stalker so far, so that has to be noted as well. He didn't go for his own glaives or like a Robo Bay or something to shut down the adepts entirely. He's just relying on the Stalkers. Actually lost one there before the blink came off.
Yep,
But he is in position for the War Prism, and yeah.
And he did kill an Adapter 2 on the left, so it's a bit of an even trade. But obviously, Stalkers are expensive, so ShoWTimE needs to make sure that he doesn't bleed out too many. Oh, he just moves them away. He's got a sentry here. This is actually going to be very annoying, because Adepts are so freaking good against workers.
Oh, so SKillous forces the recall. Some of the Stalkers are behind the army of SKillous, which is not necessarily a bad thing for ShoWTimE, but it will make microing a lot harder.
He's looking for a freebie. Might get a sentry. I think killing the sentry is sick. Getting an immortal would be very sick. Doesn't get either. It's still a difficult hold, but I think it's very doable this time around.
Yeah, for sure. And SKillous isn't even sure which army to chase. Theoretically, ShoWTimE is just trying to pick off single adepts from
I would
both
say
sides.
a blink there in front of the battery. Oh, kill something! Oh, ShoWTimE was waiting. He doesn't want to blink forward. Okay, I'm kind of sad that he didn't get any value out of the battery there. That's a big adept warp in. ShoWTimE is still going to struggle a little bit. A couple of the barriers are on cooldown, but SKillous is all over the third base.
He's all over the third base. Now the forward blink finally comes in. No pickup saves. Now he finally picks up the first immortal. 2 immortals still alive, but he leaves them alone. The adept shade in, so he's trying to deal economic damage now, a lot of it. But ShoWTimE smartly walls his main base, and this is not all of his probes. Yeah, he recalled them probably too.
You need to recall this immediately, otherwise your game is over, SKillous. But SKillous probably feels that his game is over anyway. The rewall with extra pylons. SKillous is going to tap out there. He's lost all 4 immortals, lost the War Prism, and he's going to lose each and every single adept. ShoWTimE puts us in an absolutely fantastic position to potentially get the W over Team Liquid today. A 2-0, finally. You make D Mauer play some games with low ping, and he's so back, Lambo.
He is so back. Yeah, dominating performance. Honestly, everything went well for him this game. The first game he started slightly behind and then just played really well as well. So, a great start for you guys.
I completely forgot about my prediction, and nobody even asked about it. They're too busy. They're playing Battle Aces on the side, mate. Have you played any Battle Aces yet?
I haven't played any of the new RTS yet, really.
Right. Have you watched any of the nerds play some Battle Aces?
A little bit, yeah. It looks fun.
So Miko was playing it. Miko's as good at every game he touches, huh?
Yeah, he also plays a lot of the... Whenever he plays something, he plays a ton. Just not Starcraft.
Well, he did that in the past, right, to be fair.
Yeah, of course.
Definitely a very successful player in the past as well. Alright, Clem against Reynor. Obviously, Reynor is still in Korea, guys. I think he's flying home literally tomorrow. So this is going to be his final evening. The plan is Cook against Clem. A 1-1, a 2-0. Both would be absolutely amazing for us. And then maybe have a fun final night over in Korea with Bully, who's there visiting him at the moment. And of course, SKillous is around and plenty of others.
Neep also, I've heard.
Yeah.
Is studying right now.
Yeah, they actually sent me a picture of Neep, and Neep looked like such a giga chat, man. I mean, I think Neep always looked cool, but I wouldn't say that I didn't recognize him, but if you would have just showed me that picture and you would have been like, that's a random person, I'd be like, yeah, okay. And like only when I really focused on the pic, I was like, damn, Neep looks so good. He's been hitting the gym, mate.
Yeah. Already the last couple of events he went to, you could already see him starting to get a little buff, and now without the Starcraft, it's been a while since we've seen him, so.
Yeah, it's fun. I don't know if he actually lives there, or if he was just temporarily there, or studying a bit, but obviously Korea is a fun place. A lot of the Starcraft 2 nerds have always loved going to Korea. Some of them forever, some of them for a while. Like Mr. Mechanics, he was there for a long time.
Yeah, he's gonna go back there as well in a little bit. And Neep, I think, studies there for 1 semester.
Okay. You're gonna watch Mr. Mechanics against Moja tonight, Lambo.
Is that in the big brain bouts?
Yeah, I think it's a banger.
Yes, of course. That's a great match.
Yeah. I felt a little bit bad because it was very hard for me to estimate how good Sort of is, because I watch his streams sometimes and I saw him playing on the ladder. I was like, hey, he's been in Korea for a while and he has been active, so I made him play against Mana 2 weeks ago. But yeah, that just wasn't it. Obviously, ZVP is hard right now from the Zork point of view, and also Mana is still, I think, a lot better than what many people give him credit for. So I felt bad for sort of, and I was like, let's go ahead and give him another shot. And against Moja today, I feel like that's a true 50-50, because Moja was excellent at Home Story Cup. Had a couple of fantastic games against people that, in general, the community would say are way better than him, like Gerald and whatnot. So I think Moja sort of should be awesome.
It should be awesome. I favor Ricky there, actually, quite a bit, because it's by far his best matchup. Whenever I watch it, I'm a big Ricky enjoyer as well. I watch his stream whenever he was in Korea in the mornings. He was by far the best against Darren. His mechanics still shining through.
Alright, I look forward to it. I believe Moja is a bit of a one-trick pony, but it's one of these one tricks that even if you know it's coming, it's very hard to deal with.
Trust me, I know that the Adrax of Gabe is coming whenever it's an important tournament, and I still struggle sometimes. So.
What I love as well is that Gabe always does in-depth interviews about how he ran out of strategies at one point, and I'm like, mate, there is only one that you truly believe in. When it's for all the marbles, we know.
Yeah. He knows, his opponent knows. The casters know. Still just such a good build.
Clem versus Reynor. We are just waiting for both players to be ready. With WTL, we never truly know, guys. Sometimes they start 2 minutes after they open the show. Sometimes it takes 12 minutes to get the first match going. And the second matches, it's the same. All these games are live. Nobody has played in advance. At least not as far as I know. But the first one definitely seemed live because we had player cameras. And I don't think that Reynor and Clem played in advance. If they would have played in advance, it would have probably already started, because that also speeds up the whole process. Yeah, we're just waiting. Shouldn't take too much longer.
Yeah, it shouldn't. They used to actually force us to record our cameras when we pre-played, but I think it was too hard for pro gamers to do. So they stopped with that.
I mean, I had that request as well a few times, and one time I know for a fact that it was done, and then they still didn't use it. So maybe it's also harder for them to like take all that recording and sync it up with the game, and like, you know, and they just said like, F it, whatever, we're not gonna do that.
Yeah. Yeah, for those that don't know, I think every team gets 3 pre-plays. So sometimes not everybody can play on the date itself. So you get 3 times in a season you can force a match that is before the scheduled time. So it shouldn't happen too often, because there's just a set amount.
Yeah, every now and then we get another one though, because I always have very good arguments on why we deserve at least 1 or 2 more. And then there's a little back and forth with me and the WTL admin, and then eventually they're like, all right, you get 2 more. I was like, sick. No, but to be fair, when we have literally the European regionals, which is one of the biggest events of the year for StarCraft 2, and even if it's region lock, even if it's online, it doesn't matter, right? They're big, they're important, they're prestigious. If they make us play a match at Sunday, the championship Sunday at 4 p.m., it's like, well, with Reynor, Trigger, and Serral, there's a good chance one of them, if not 2 or all 3 of them, are playing. And on such a big day, I feel like I don't want to disturb my players by asking them to play in the WTL, even though we love WTL. That's literally thousands of dollars on the line. So we had a bit of a back and forth, and in the end, yeah, they agreed that that's not very nice. And I was like, yeah. I was like, they always avoid GSL days, but then the European regionals, they're like, whatever, you can just play, it doesn't overlap. And I was like, but that's not how it works. I was like, if you're a pro, you're just focused, you're dialed in, you want to get ready for one specific series. You don't want to be playing, even if it's Jaishi or Eon Blue or whatever, Tootming, right? It doesn't matter. You just let them prepare in their own way.
Yeah. Fully agreed. But when I ask this, he always says no, so I think you need to be more persistent as well.
Oh, yeah, no. You should have seen these essays that I had with him, mate. One time, he just... this was not the most recent season, but this is a longer time ago, maybe like a year ago or something. As it seems like we're pretty much ready, guys. But he was like, no, you really have to play. And I was like, all right, we give a walkover. He's like, question mark? I was like, 6-0 for the enemy team. I was like, it sucks, but it is what it is. I was like, the regionals are important to the players. I was like, we won't play. And he's like, okay, 3 replacements. But yeah, like I would have been completely okay with it. And the bosses of Basilisk said as well, like, Roddy, if it has to be a walkover loss, so be it. It is what it is. Let the guys prepare for their big games. And I think that's the way it should be. WTL is awesome, but it shouldn't interfere with something as important as the final day of the regionals.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Clem, his backdrop looks a little messy. I'm not used to that anymore, because there was a time that Clem had like the sexiest pro gamer setup out there with some cool lights, solid sharp camera. I was so proud of him. No, we have just dumped whatever we have left from Homestory Cup on the couch or something.
Looks like it.
People saying Clem looks sleepy. I mean, it was a meme for a long time that Clem always stayed up till 4, 5, 6, 7 a.m. and he wakes up very late. I believe that he said, like, no, that's not the case anymore. I'm a lot better about it. But I also believe that he really enjoys playing Counter-Strike with the Americans. You know, Foxer and Canning, Trigger, they've got a whole crew. So perhaps every now and then there is still an all-nighter for Clemo.
Yeah. I mean, he's at that age, he can still manage.
I'll take our 50% man here, by the way, if he wants to become the 50% man once more, which he hasn't done too often this season, to be totally fair. Reynor has been excellent for us. But if he wants to go back to his roots and be the 50-50 man, I think that would be a great result for us.
Yeah, I agree. Especially after the 2-0 from ShoWTimE. I think having Serral get 2-0 by Cure is rather unlikely, so I would sign it as well if I was you.
Clem, of course, in top left of Amphion, and it's BASILISK Reynor on his absolute final night over in South Korea. He made a couple of cool tweets about it, said obviously the Korea journey wasn't totally what he had in mind, but he still absolutely loved it. He got to meet some great people, he did his best, he played against different opponents, and sometimes all that effort you put in, it doesn't show immediately, but there's a good chance that over time, Reynor will still benefit from this Korea trip that he's had. And I believe in that, and I'm glad that he had a great time, right? That's also, like, so, sure, you want to do well in the GSL Codes, but there's more to life than getting the immediate results. If he's happy, I think that can really help him getting ready for the Esports World Cup. Yep,
I agree. In my experience, it takes a while for, if you do a lot of focus practice, a lot of long days of work, very often you can see the results delayed, like a couple of months even. And yeah, sometimes when you don't play and you don't feel stressed, you perform better then, but it's still really the work that you put in before that matters.
On Amphion, I've seen you play some Muda Link Banes from time to time. Sometimes it looked amazing, sometimes it looked difficult to end the games. Why do you like the Mudas on Amphion?
Because first of all, it's a very large rush distance map. And there's just a lot of bases that you can take in general. So, and it's close by air, which all of these things favor Muda. And if you don't go Muda, I think this map is barely playable at all, because the Terran can just take the left side base and go orbital on location 4th base, orbital on location 5th base, and just expand towards you, and you're gonna die to tanks. That has been my experience with this map. I think you gotta play something a little different than normal. You can't even take a 3rd base right away. Like, you can see Clem scouting here with the SCV. And now which 3rd are you going to take? You cannot expand towards the left side as Zerg, so you need to start with 2 base, and then very often Muda is one of the better things you can do from 2 base, because the way Zerg works is that the hatchery gives you the larva, so not taking this base earlier on also means that you can't spend your money if you don't either make a ton of queens or you tech up either into roaches or Mudas.
Ian Blue is asking, why is the triangle base not an option? And with the triangle, I assume he means the left one, not the one in the center.
So the one in the center, both of them would be very close. The left one would just be that the Terran can tank push without you being able to flank the army even, because there's rocks. So legit, you can't even surround or flank, which is what Zerg is required to do if you want to hold any push, really. But also the rush distance is just too short. If he was to take the other triangle, like the light triangle, I'm gonna call it, I also think it's just too short. The map just becomes too short.
Quick lair on the way for Reynor, as he now feels confident that he can sneak out a drone and he can go up to 3 bases. Clem obviously playing triple CC here, wants to get that creep tumor, and Claymore gets what he wants. It's a very annoying one for Reynor to lose, because it is important to get some creep going. There are 2 Hellions as well, and Clem has found a lot of success in the past with donating just his first 2 Hellions against Reynor. At the Homestory Cup, we saw this move a few times with mixed results. I want to say Reynor is going to deal with this quite well. Loses 6 Zerglings or so, but not a single drone. We're going to be happy with that.
Yeah. This is usually a bad move if the Zerg opens 2 base, because you have more queens than usual. So I feel like the Hellions never should do anything. It's not the biggest deal because he's going 2-on-1.
Hey, what is Reynor doing?
Is going Link Queen drop. He's going for a Link Queen drop all in. So the 2 Hellions, losing them is actually huge. It's a big deal. Now, I still would think that this is a good build order-wise, because Stim should be done by the time this hits, and he has a high number of Marines, but it is still a 3cc opening, and he lost his first 2 Hellions, so We'll see if this works. Cool build.
Yeah, so it's 4 queens. Obviously, some of them will have some energy. It's a lot of links. It will all come down to the wraparound. This is where I would love them to only show us the vision of Clem. Because Clem obviously doesn't really have that much vision. Hasn't built any bunkers. He even dropped 2 eBays. So that doesn't really give us any indication that he's ready. Reynor shows some links, but really not that many. Now he's going to try to pull the Marines out of position. And here comes the Queen Ling invasion. Can Reynor get the wraparound? You said it. Stim is done, but without any medevacs. Stims are scary. Here come the queens as well. Can we drop some creep so the queens can start transfusing each other? I feel like that's kind of mandatory. And we do get some creep going. All 4 queens still alive. Links in the main base too. Reynor is everywhere.
Reynor is everywhere, and this was exactly the engagement that Reynor wanted. Clem fell for a couple of links at the front, and he had no scouting. He had no idea of what was happening. He probably thought this was going to be a 2-base Muda opening. Clem still managed to save a lot of Marines, so he's not dead yet by any means, because Reynor doesn't really have any tech besides the lair being finished. No Bending Nest, no upgrades, but this should be enough damage. He's almost doubling Clem's supply at this point, and he can start offensively cruise threading, which is going to force out so many scans. Even inside the natural of Clem at this point.
Yeah, but only a 15 worker deficit. I am still a tiny bit scared, because I feel like we've seen this before. Now, Clem, does he have combat shields? I don't think he does, right? It's just him.
Yeah, no combat shields.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better. But if we lose all 4 queens here and these 2 drop lords, and it seems like that is going to happen, at least we lose one of them, and the Marines are going to have to be forced to hop into the medevac as the links show up one more time. And having that one active creep tumor is awesome. Reynor is still going to try to drop Zerglings in the main, and that's awesome because Clem's medevac count at the moment is 2. So these Marines, they can't stim forever. Obviously, Reynor cannot donate the drop lord. Saved by the bell.
Saved by the bell. Here comes the scan. He dropped 2 mules even before the scan because the income for Clem right now is so impactful. Reynor going double upgrades before the Baning Last even, which can be a little bit risky, honestly. He's really banking on the fact that he can keep Clem at home. Clem doesn't even have a wall off right now, so it's very, very difficult for Clem to ever move out. He would need to leave a lot of stuff at home. And we already know that Reynor is one of the best players when it comes to these Ling Run dice, so it's going to be very, very scary for Clem to do anything on the map.
And these scans are very annoying because obviously Clem was hurting economically. Now he's forced to throw down scan after scan to take care of that creep. Few of these SCVs were low on HP, so Reynor is going to find at least, I think, 3-4 more. Make it 4 in the end and some lost mining time. And the nicest thing is for Reynor is that A, Clem was kind of broke, but B, he was still forced to produce links, right? Marines, just in case Reynor made even more queens and even more links. But while building all those extra Marines and SCVs, he couldn't really increase his medevac count. So as long as that medevac count is low, I don't think Reynor has a whole lot to fear from Clem.
Yeah, that is true. The one bad thing for Reynor is that he has barely any creep on his own side of the map. But as long as he can keep spraying creep on the other side of the map, that creep on his side should be relatively uncontested, and he can replenish that right around now. And I think at this point, Reynor already is safe. He's going to be even in upgrades. Oh my god, he's even creeping towards Clem's natural. This is going to be so annoying to deal with for the rest of the game, honestly, for Clem.
Yep. Almost seems that Clem had enough of it as he is rallying a bunch of units to the other side of the map. But Reynor, his links are going to jump on them Marines. That is a tiny surround as well. Maybe even a tank, as there is some creep that Reynor can work with. But reinforcements are going to keep that tank safe. I mean, bailing speed is close to finishing up. The 1-1 upgrades of Reynor are done. Reynor definitely needs to stop building the drones now for a split second. And let's just go ahead and make sure we have enough units. Oh, Claymore doing Claymore things. But he just doesn't have the numbers.
Yeah, that was not good enough. Clem is all-inning, by the way. He stopped SCV production.
Yeah.
Now he realized it can't work, so now he's making SCVs again, I'm pretty sure. He knows that this is a terrible position. This was not a good trade for Reynor. He lost a lot of Zerglings there. Barely didn't get any of the tanks. Obviously, you're never gonna get those if they're unsieged and there's medevacs above. But oh my god, the double creep maybe I think those are just gonna die. But Reynor's being very cute.
If he would have done that in the very corner, there's a good chance that would have worked.
That's true, yeah.
Reynor's got bigger fish to fry. He's got burrow done now as well, and you know how much I love myself some burrowed banelings.
I do know that, yeah. Reynor doesn't even need to defend that base. He has a run by going. He's probably gonna kill a lot of SCVs on Clem's own third base, but this is not that many Marines.
Not just
and the main base as well, the drop.
Drop Lord, I think, came back one more time. Clem is gonna lose a few more Marines here. Queens can tank. They can gun down one tank, maybe the second one as well, or maybe Reynor could have done. It's just the Queen drop, by the way, in the main. I was killing some SCVs. I mean, 15 more Knocks Clem all the way back to 42. Down 36 work as well. Reynor even has the confidence now to fire up a hive. It just feels that the floodgates are way too open, and it's going to be so easy for Reynor to continue to find damage.
Yeah, there's absolutely no chance that Clem can ever win this game. He can't even safely mine from his own bases anymore. Keeps getting dropped in his main base. He keeps getting run by towards his natural and his third base. He can't even afford a wall off right now. He never managed to get that wall off the entire game long. And all he's doing really with this drop is trying to deny the mining of Reynor's forward base, and he already has a fifth base that is mining as well.
I feel like we missed burrowed banelings, by the way, on that one ramp from the main to the natural of Clem, as we have a tiny burrowed bane here as well. Reynor sneaks a couple of links from the top side, gets on top of that tank, and all that's left for Clem is a bunch of Marines with 1-1. Maybe Clem lost an eBay, or he just only started +2 armor. That's awkward, but don't think it really makes a difference. Reynor is just ahead in every single aspect as he's finding more freebies. Reynor with an unorthodox build. The Queen Link drop gets the job done and puts us 3-0 against Team Liquid. And all that Basilisk needs now is just one more map win. The boy is dialed in.
The boy is dialed in. He even has a chance for a 4-0 now against Team Liquid, which would be huge.
It's going to be good for his ELO as well if you look at Clem's ELO.
That's true. Reynor's ELO also getting up there.
Yeah.
It's not many players that get toward the 800s.
Solid. What do you think Clem is going to pick? So many great choices, no?
There is so many great choices. Usually I would say Ghost River or Dynasty. Now I saw it, but it's usually Ghost River or Dynasty. I think if Terrans actually had a real bidder on Dynasty, they would pick that over Ghost River even, but they barely ever play the map, so Ghost River is a little bit more standard and still super good for Terran.
Thomas says, first I throw versus Trigger and then Reynor beats Clem with my build. I'm the Basilisk Guardian Angel. And I wouldn't want it any other way, Mark. Yeah, we got a little lucky in that Clem, Mark. I don't know if you saw that one, but...
I saw it. I saw the one base against the 3 base Protoss. Without any scouting.
I know. Oh, poor Mark. I mean, that one was scary. But the first one I thought was even scarier. The one on Ghost River. I thought we were kind of cooked. Ghost River, 2 teams that have 4 wins and 2 losses so far in this season. Basilisk started off 0-2 as we lost to Starlight Twinkle. I mean, Bruce Wayne, never to be underestimated. Second play day we lost against Dragon Kaisi Gaming. After that we started getting back on track. TL obviously is a team that's pretty much always going to make it into the playoffs. But this is definitely the important one, right? To figure out who is going to take the upper hand in the race to the playoffs and get deeper seat.
Yeah, TL actually historically always performs very poorly in the regular season. I think one time they didn't even make it, or maybe they made it in last place into the playoffs, barely. So usually, even though they have such a good team, they struggle in the regular season. This is, I think, the best season from them so far. Or maybe last season.
Last season, I think they were good too, because obviously they had Cure, right?
But didn't last season Clem like all get everything in the playoffs, and they also started in the first match? Or was it the one before?
Yeah, no, I think you're right actually, because they started off against Sidestorm Gaming and came down to Clem Max Packs.
Yeah. So I don't think the regular season was that good for them either.
Maybe Cure joined late. He was only eligible at like play day 8 or 9, if I recall that.
Yeah, I think that's how it was. Yeah.
Alrighty, here we go, guys. Goes the river, top left side. The Italian Stallion for Basilisk Reynor, top right side. It's a must-win game for him and his team if they still want to have a tiny chance on going for the reverse sweep and turning this around. A Team Liquid's claim up.
It's gonna be hype. I wonder what Reynor's gonna do here, because Clem already opening up with the gas first. He's gonna run by some cars again. But yeah, the reason this map is so hard is, first of all, you kind of need to open pool first if you even want to get a third base up. And then after that, you're limited to 6 bases, and the Terran can crawl forward to his own 6 bases. You can never mine from your opponent's side of the map at all. So you're forced to kill the Terran at some point. And that makes the game plan very, very easy for the Terran, because you can sit there and do nothing.
What did you make of Serral on this map against Oliveira?
That was a crazy game. That's the first time I saw that actually somewhat work. I still think Oliveira could have won that game, and it was super close. Like even closer than it might have looked.
No, I thought it was Omega close for a while, and I was like, with Lair Tech too, I was like, I've been here. Pulled against Jaedong a million times over. It's like, oh, the Zerg winning. Just kidding. 3-3 bias still wins. And then somehow Serral just so freaking good. Keeps on finding openings, run bys. Thought it was an amazing game too.
Yeah, it was a great game.
Yeah, I kind of believed in Oliveira's chances in the game until the absolute last moment where I was like, wait. Is he just like too far behind right now? And pretty much ended right afterwards. Such an insane game.
Yeah, that's pretty much how I looked at it as well. It was insanely close for a long time, and I figured the moment there's like one fight where there's 2 big mine hits, Zerg instantly loses, but the fight never came.
And then sometimes even into mines and a planetary is like, there's no happy ending to this. And then Jonas like, well, maybe there is. I was like, alright, fair enough. I stand corrected, and I'm very happy to do so. Because it's always nice when you see players pull off builds, strats, execution that you just don't think that's possible. You've been watching this game for 14 years, and at one point you kind of feel like you've seen it all. And then Yona is always there to show you a thing or two that you haven't quite seen yet.
So Clem did a cute thing there, which was to follow the links around with the SCV to make sure that he can send the Reaper across. He knew that there were no links on the map, but this, as I said before, you just need to go blue first if you want to take your third hatchery. The third base is super far away. You absolutely do not have a secondary third base on this map.
Yeah.
On Amphion, you kind of do, but not really, and on this map you absolutely don't, so... that's the only reason he went for pool first, not because he was afraid of proxy racks or anything like that.
Kind of nice actually that Reynor at least is able to get this hatchery up and running that quick. Don't hate it.
Mm-hmm.
It is something that we can perhaps work with, as Clem's Reaper has hopped into the main base of Reynor. That grenade is well placed. By the way, it is important to mention that obviously Reynor is still in Korea, that we are playing on different servers. Game 1 was probably played on US West. Game 2 will be played on Central. Central favors the Europeans, US West favors the Koreans, and in this case Reynor is the Korean. So this is going to be a difficult game for Reynor for more than one reason other than the map, and it being Clem.
Yeah. I think you got a little bit fortunate there that Clem didn't continue chasing with the 2 Hellions because there was nothing there. There was no GPS output on the ramp. Obviously Clem can't know what he can't see. But Reynor getting away with 1 there. Still losing 2 drones, losing a lot of mining time is not perfect. But this is a 2cc opening. This also was an SCV scout with a gas first. So this is relatively committed. The 3rd cc of Clem will be very late, and he won't have 8 Hellions or anything like that. So yeah, as long as Reynor doesn't lose a whole lot now to the 6 Hellions plus the Liberator, he's in a fantastic spot.
Yep, the third base definitely a lot later than it could have been. Clem just wanted to get these units out for A, map control, and perhaps be confident that they can start finding damage. Good reaction there by Reynor though, pulls the drones away, moors one of them into a spore too. If Reynor can just continue defending like this for a little while longer, I'm starting to get actually pretty excited about his chances. As he loses a single drone there, but all of that is acceptable. This is not a fight I think that the Queens are going to win. Unless we can get away from the circle. We can sort of get away from the circle. Wow, what a transfuse. But there are still Hellions. Oh no, another drones are being pulled towards the direction of the Hellions. Reynor has a few Zerglings here too. What a transfuse on that Queen.
Yeah, nice transfuse on the Queen, but all the Zerglings go down, and now there's no DPS in the main. I would go to the main if I was Clem. All the Zerglings died. He tries to go to natural. Nice building placement blocks. I mean, throughout all of this, Reynor is not spreading creep. He has to remake all of the links, so I still think this was good for Clem overall. But this is a 2cc build, so...
It's a lot of units, though, that Clem lost. Yeah. And then, like you said, the 3rd cc being quite a bit later. I don't think Clem is mega unhappy, but I also don't think that this is what he would be celebrating for.
Yeah, I do think he's ahead overall, but not by as much, for sure.
As we are 6 minutes into this game, is there any chance that you can get me tickets for that final, by the way, Lambo, in Berlin, Netherlands against either Spain or, I don't know, some other pleb country? You got any connections for me, mate?
Mate, you're not getting past Austria.
Oh, absolutely. I love how the Netherlands is so funny, man. We just got bopped by Austria, and now everybody looks at our bracket and we're like, easiest bracket ever.
Yeah. You gotta get past Romania first, my friends.
Yeah. It's okay, mate. They're afraid of us. I love it. Exciting times. 2 hatcheries at once for Reynor, 1 macro hatch in the main, and obviously a 4th base. As he's working on +1 carapace, Bailey nest going down. Lara's about to finish up. Clem obviously, this time around, much better setup. This time he didn't lose 25 SCVs. And Reynor is not doubling or almost even tripling his economy. That is actually going to supply block Reynor for a bit. It's got 4 overlords on the way. Really can't afford to lose another one. How good are the queens? Can they save the day? Clem shows no respect for the queens, and he's willing to battle.
He's willing to battle. Clean pickup. This, if you misclick during the pickup on an A, this can very quickly go south, where 1 medevac will die because you try to still pick up the Marines if you misclick once, but
my stream is
Clem
lagging.
saves all of the Marines. Oh, my stream is end.
Really? Sick. I blame Cuckoo. Probably opening the door again. Sorry guys, give me 1 sec. You're still watching on YouTube, right?
I'm watching on YouTube, yeah.
What the hell is my... For real? Like you have no lag?
I have no lag, yeah.
That's crazy.
Clem is just dropping, they're trading a little bit. Nothing much is happening right now.
I can't even open That's amazing. I can't even open the stream. I'm gonna see if Twitch works. It just keeps on spinning. Nothing I can do. Alright, Twitch seems to work. So I'm just gonna watch on Twitch for a little bit. I'm at 7:41, 2.
Yeah, perfect. We're synced.
Alright, let's go.
Okay, so Clem now multitasking. He has a double drop at the bottom, double drop at the top. Trying to trade this away quite nicely. Focus fires a couple of banelings, picks up, saved most of the Marines. Clem forgot to start his 2-2 for a while, which sucks, especially against the pure Ling Bane. Upgrade advantages are so big. You spoke about the 3-3 versus the 2-2, which happens very often, but even just if you have 2-2 versus 1-1, Marines versus Lings trade so cost effectively. And he's also setting up for a Widowmine transition, so Clem is just setting up for the long run. He's not gonna plan to kill Reynor. He's just gonna move out and try to trade, I think, for the rest of the game. This is kind of his playstyle, trade his opponent to death.
I'll still feel that Reynor's hive is mega quick here, right? And if we can just get his Reynor glance going, that can make up a little bit for the upgrade deficit.
Yeah, for sure.
Quick Viper, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Single Parabomb there can get the double kill. But we do need to respect this army, and Clem has already shown us today that the target fire against Banelings is on point. I don't think we have many Banelings right now. I see a couple show up, but I feel like that's kind of it, no?
Yeah, he doesn't have a lot of Banelings. He just needed to spend the gas on the Viper and the Adrenal Glands, and he's only on 5 gas, from what I can see. So... Oh, he even was just on 4 gas or 3, because he's taking 2 now. So yeah, he just doesn't have gas for Banelings. He also doesn't have start to start his extra upgrades, so it's gonna be behind in upgrades for quite a long time. Now he's going for a massive counter attack, but there's already the mines in position. If Clem manages to borrow those, it's gonna be impossible to go up that ramp. Yeah, he detonates 1, but it's very difficult to push up that ramp.
Clem now dropping in the bottom left, so I don't think Reynor can really do a lot about that hatchery. Apparently Clem maybe with an F2 there, tiny F2, right? Because those, okay, but he still gets the kill. Not even a cancel, but I think that's a straight up kill on the hatch. This Reynor does get F2, or he does get carapace now. Those Marines ran away from the job before the mission was finished, but then in the end they turned around and it worked out for Clem. Maybe if he was just attacking it all along, then Reynor would have cancelled it. Counter attack's not getting a lot done. I don't think we've got Burrow this time around, so Reynor maybe just hoping that he can force Clem to keep a lot of supply at home, and that he then has enough to crush Clem on this side of the map, and that's exactly what he's going to go for right now. Gets on top of 2 out of 3 tanks very quickly. The Zerglings are not going to win the fight against the Marines at the bottom left. Baneling's kind of derping a tiny bit, but at least he got the tanks.
Yeah, that was not a good trade though at all. That was really rough, honestly. He's running out of Banelings now. He just started his 2-2, Clem has his 3-3. I think that fight kind of did it. He was already dying before that, so there's not much he could have done.
Maybe if we can spend our money, we're still okay, because he does have 1,200 minerals in the bank.
Yeah, that is true. I think if he spends his money, even if he's maxed right now and he has no bank, I think he's pretty dead. Because Clem is fully set up on 4 base, he has a 5th base on the way, he's ahead in upgrades, he's maxed on an anti-Ling Bane army, or like Marauders and Widow Mines, and if that's up in upgrades, I mean... Yeah,
we need Clem to stop being Clem and actually absorb a couple Banelings for there to be a 1% chance, but Clem doesn't really let go of these games. Obviously Clem's got the big advantage here as well. The splits are pretty damn good. Banelings get obliterated before they get anywhere near them Marines. Second wave of Banes finds a tiny bit of success as Reynor is also trying to drag the Widowmine shots on top of the Terran army. I mean, Reynor actually did pretty alright here. It's just, even alright, it's not going to do a whole lot for him. Because let's say these Banes will push Clem back. That doesn't mean that the game is now suddenly looking great for Reynor. He's still being outmined and out-upgraded.
Yep. There's even Ghosts on the way. Clem doesn't need Ghosts, but Ghosts are also not bad against Ling Bane. Can EMP the Vipers, or snipe the Vipers, whatever he prefers. And Clem has a second army that is just as big as this one in the center of the map. He's just having fun. He's rallying all his units across in different groups and trying to out-multitask Reynor. Reynor can't even get a 5th base up, which he really desperately needs because his main base is gonna run dry.
Did a friendly fire there. Maybe we can get the Millennium 4 GG Widow Mines and bring back Reynor into the game.
That would be one way. I think it's more likely than Clem just dying to Banelings, I feel like.
And a Viper in the mix, maybe we spam a Power Bomb or land an Abductor too, but there are those Ghosts that you mentioned. I love that you said, like, those actually pretty good against Ling Bane as well. So what are they not good against from this Zerg, Lambo? That's what I would like to know.
Well, I have this question many times, so I checked on the help tab from Starcraft 2 in-game, and it says the counter that Zerg has is the Roach.
The Rogue is onto something, maybe that's why his Arcosis is good. There's Reynor does find a couple of Banelings to connect with these units, but obviously Clem is macroing like an absolute animal. Clem are now on 5 bases. Reynor trying to get that 5th base online in the bottom left. We've got a Liberator or 2 making it to the front line, and if Queens are your only anti-air, well, it's gonna be good enough. I mean, definitely an A for Fighting Spirit coming out of Reynor, but Clem really showing up now with the hot pickup on that 1 HP Ghost. He said earlier he's having fun. Definitely looks like Clem is having fun.
Yeah. I mean, Reynor is microing really well, but it's a very uphill battle. So.
I was wondering if my stream was. Yeah, I was wondering if my stream was lagging again, but apparently there is somebody in the game that's lagging. Obviously, this one is kind of over, but it's okay. Reynor has done a great job for us. I am very, very happy with the 50 man showing up today. All we need is Yona to take a map against Cure. And I haven't checked Illegalag yet, Lambo, but I'm pretty certain Yona has taken a couple of maps in a row against Cure.
A couple of maps for sure. I think Cure doesn't like this matchup right now to begin with, so going up against the best there is, it's gonna be an uphill battle even to take a map usually. I don't know how much Yona plays right now, but yeah, I think you guys are for sure the favorite for the rest of the clan war with how this stands.
I'm happy that you also still call it a clan war. The OGs.
How is it supposed to be called?
I don't know, but I feel like they're not many people are referring to Clem Wars, but I am. Seems like somebody is still lagging this game, but obviously it's not going to change anything. Reynor doing his best with the Queens transfusing each other. Clem's army is bigger, it's better, has more potential, and Reynor knows it.
Well, Reynor didn't even find the time to start tier 3, nor the money. He's now going for his last run by. The moment he sees the army the army back at home, he's just gonna tap out.
Clem doesn't look too satisfied with that 1-1. Reynor not necessarily buzzing either, but I think Reynor can overall be very happy with it, knowing that ShoWTimE got that 2-0 lead for us in the beginning in the PvP over SKillous. And that means that it will all come down to Serral versus Cure. Obviously same conditions as Clem against Reynor. Game 1 will be played on US West, favors the Korean players. Game 2 will be played on US Central, and that favors the European players. So could still get a tiny bit scary, but I believe in my Yona. I feel Yona is immune to ping, Lambo.
Yeah. He also plays according to what the ping is. I think Yona in general just is a master of all styles in this matchup. And the third game actually starts on Golden Aura even. So this it's just everything is going against Team Liquid at this point. It's not looking pretty.
I want to take a look at Illegalag quickly, because I feel that there was a time a long time ago where Cure got a surprise victory over Serral, but after that it really has been Serral for a little while. Jeez. 2-0. Okay, 3-2 is actually very close. 4-1, 2-0, 1-0, 2-0, 4-1, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. ESL 7, 4-1.
I remember that. He also beat Reynor there, I think, and some other top Zerg. He did something different than the other Terrans. I think he opened... it was the tournament where he opened Drilling Claws, 3cc 2-1-1. And then he played the Drilling Claws drops and just played Mass Marauder Widowmine in the mid game.
Yeah, that vaguely rings a bell. I think I was there. I think I was watching it. I don't know if that was that devastating day where the Euros were happening. And I had to cast 4 best of 7s with Zombie Grub. All 4 TVZ, mate. 4 best of 7s, back to back to back to back. All 4 of them TVZ. All my friends were out watching the Netherlands against Czech Republic. I was kind of sad about it, but I said, don't worry. We're going to smack the Czech Republic anyway, and then I can watch the quarterfinals with my friends. Don't ask me how that went. Ooh, Jonas is looking fancy today. He's looking sharp.
He's going with a partner look with his pillow.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Oh my goodness, you've got a great eye for detail, mate. That's cute. Jonas so handsome. He was like, oh no. So you guys are telling me I need to 2-0 this guy? Why me?
Yeah. Not the greatest of positions, although this is sometimes where people shine the most. Where you are the underdog, you can play freely. It's usually just not against Serral that this happens.
You know what I think is funny is that we now look at Golden Aura and we're like, oh, great map for Zerg. Well, in the previous patch, it really wasn't, right? Like, I feel like it was okay, it was playable, but there were plenty of Zergs that actually hated Golden Aura against Terran. So is it just the Widowmine that has changed, or is there something else to it?
Well, it's just that the map will, in comparison, the other maps are so much worse for Zerg. So that this is our good map now.
Is there anything that like changed patch-wise that actually makes the map a bit better, or is it just that all the other maps are so much harder than Golden Aura?
Yeah, it's just all the other maps are so much harder. Like, this map is good if you want to camp for late game. Spirit plays it, for example, he didn't veto it against me. There's some Terrans that also like this. I think this map is even good for Terran, but yeah. It's better than the rest, that's for sure. Like, I can tell that much. That's why we pick it, honestly.
So Golden Aura just had a huge glow up, you know? It's like when you were friends with a boy or a girl in high school, and you know, maybe they weren't the prettiest out there, but you were just getting along great, and you see them a couple years later, you're like, damn! Looks good. Is that what Golden Aura is right now?
That's exactly what Golden Aura was.
It's a good thing you were always nice to Golden Aura, Lambo.
Back in high school, we had Pride of Altaris. Casting a huge shadow over maps like this.
10 out of 10. What can you do? Hard to compete with.
That's true.
Are you gonna watch the second Clem today as well?
I'm gonna watch the first game and then I think I'm gonna practice.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a little break because it's actually kind of hot here, and obviously I have the big rain bouts tonight. And doing these like 9-10 hour marathon days, it's not very pleasant when the sun is shining. You feel it's hot. And I want to have eat. I want to have some food as well. So just gonna watch this one and wrap it up.
Makes sense. Are you AC free as well? Or do
Yeah,
you have AC in?
I used to have an AC in my office room upstairs, but then when the Reynor came over once because he needed a place to stay, Reynor was sitting in the living room. And I was like, man, why is Reynor's setup cooler than my setup? Why am I sitting in a tiny cage upstairs? Well, he's living like a king in my living room. So the moment that Reynor left, I was like, fuck it. I'm moving my entire setup to the living room because I was living alone back then anyway. And I said, why would I sit in a tiny cage on the second floor when I can just be comfortable in the biggest room of the house? But I have no AC in the living room, so that's the only unlucky part. But hey, the sun almost never shines, so who cares?
True.
Some of you guys are asking what ELO is. ELO is basically the MMR system that the WTL guys use for their specific tournaments. Think of the Kung Fu Cuppy, think of Masters Coliseum, think of WTL Code S. And is there another one, Lambo?
No. I don't think so. That's it.
Right. So that's and obviously some random show matches that they run during those big events. And that is how they determine the ELO to all these players. We have hopped into what could be a very long game and could be the final best of 2 of this awesome Clan bar, even though it's been a bit one-sided up to this point. But if I've learned one thing against Team Liquid, it is to never ever ever celebrate too early. I did that once in the playoffs on Equilibrium, and every now and then I still wake up and I start sweating. I don't know how that one slipped away. Bottom right side is, of course, Team Liquid's Cure. Top left side, it is the great Jonas Serral.
That's true. That map existed as well. We had maps like Equilibrium, and now this is our map pick.
Hey, but it had a beautiful glow up.
That's true. It's true. I like it now.
And even Equilibrium does not always guarantee the win, mate.
You don't need to tell me. I was always the worst at the maps where that I don't play on at all. You probably remember a Pride of Altaris game against Diego, for example.
Yeah, in the Cast of Civil War.
Yeah, I always struggle on the maps which I just don't get practice time on, even if they're theoretically good for my race. No Terran wants to play custom games with me on Pride of Altaris or Equilibrium, so...
I don't remember all the specifics of that game. I just remember A, it went on forever, and B, we had Ghost and Thor. Like, that's all I remember. An invincible Ghost Thor army that probably went on for at least 45 minutes, give or take, maybe an hour.
Yeah, maybe less. I think he turtled with Ghost Mech, and then once he was max, he just pushed and killed my army and the remax.
There you go. Kalagad. Still got it. What do you make of these openings so far? 2 minutes into Golden Hour.
Looking pretty standard. I like that Cure is cutting the SV Scout. Cutting corners against Serral, I think, is pretty smart to do. You don't really need to go for the Scout every single time. And I'm expecting Cure to just go 3cc because he always does it. Very often he just goes 3cc Banshee. He also has a GSL match on Sunday, I think. So, where he's playing against Dark. So if he has anything special, I would imagine he's not playing it here. So I'm expecting him to go for something that he has shown before. So whatever his standard was in the past, this is what he's going to do now. This is time for his bread and butter, where he doesn't really show anything, he's just going to try to outplay his opponent.
That is not going to be easy when his opponent is Serral. We actually got a little bit lucky because the WTL guys moved the dates around, and I had a whole bunch of dates where I knew Yona would be available. And I think initially he was not available for this, but then they started shuffling a little bit, and suddenly we had to play against Team Liquid on the 28th of June. I was like, hey Yona, like I'm actually willing to use a wildcard here because this is obviously a big match. 2 big teams in the world of Starcraft 2, and we love TLs and we want to bring our very best. And he said, actually, I can play that match live. And I was like, alright, that's even better, mate. Let's go.
Yeah, that's nice.
Well, we would have used him anyway. Probably use him against Shopify as well, just a heads up, mate.
It's okay, it's okay. We look at the Serral team always with a little bit of jealousy because you know the other two usually need to get 1 map win and then Serral does the rest. That's how it feels like.
It's been a very different experience for me this season, Lambo, not having that guaranteed 2-0 to count.
Yeah.
Totally, every Clem war is scary, man. Like, Starlight Twinkle, scary as hell. Bruce Wayne, baby. Like, you gotta respect it.
And Bruce Wayne didn't even take a map that Clem war, so...
Says it all, right?
Yeah.
We have Marauders with Concussive Shell on the way. This is actually a build that Cure found some success with a very long time ago against the likes of both Serral and Reynor. But that was an era where Serral very rarely opened up with the Roach Warren, and now we do have a Roach Warren. We know that Yona loves the Roaches, so I am not omega concerned yet, but it would be nice if Serral can get like some sort of a scout or anything that can tip him off here. What are the things that you look for as a Zerg player when this opening is in the back of your mind?
In general, it's you can morph blind banelings if you have a baneling nest. He knows it's already 3cc because of the lack of depots at the front, so yeah, it's just trying to patrol your Zerglings, making sure you see the medevac, rally across, and be active with your Zerglings on the other side of the map. Third is playing it super safe. He's going for Spore Crawlers. These are just in case it's a Liberator, and he's making blind roaches just in case it's something like this. So he should be safe overall. It has to be said that it's easier to die with roaches than it is with banelings against the Spirit. Like, defending this with banelings is super free. Defending it with roaches, sometimes the Marauders can come on top of you, and you don't really have that much of a time to react because the Viking obviously clears the Overlords that are on the way there.
Ooh,
so
that's a lot of drones, by the way. That is a lot of drones right when these units are already on the side of the map, and he's still making drones. Yona actually uncharacteristically greedy, as these Marauders are now going to get dropped and they're going to get their concussive shells hits off. A couple hits on the medevac would be awesome, but are these queens shooting at this point? I mean, if this doesn't work for Cure now, it's literally never going to work, by the way, because Yona was very greedy, made nothing but drones, but these queens, they can buy time, but they can't buy time forever.
Yeah, still he killed most of the Hellions already. He actually killed 2 Hellions with his Zerglings with a wraparound on the back, which was huge. Because now the reinforcements are going to be so much stronger against the army that Cure still has left. 5 Queens are still alive. He's focus firing down the Medivac goes down. And at this point, this is pretty much cleared up. Now this is a 3cc attack. The Liberator also being rallied into the Queens. This is just Marauders, so Zerglings plus drones will clean this up. The question is just at what cost?
The cost of losing 10 drones, 9 drones at the moment, and obviously a couple Queens went down. I mean, in the end, I'm okay with it, how it went. Of course, there's a world where Serral can defend this a little bit better and more optimal, but he was mega greedy, and he saw this incredibly late. So there is a world where we lose all the Queens, and then we lose more drones. And I think I'm kind of alright with the position that Serral is in. Not loving it, but I just feel like it could have gone worse.
It could have gone worse for sure. I think he's ahead actually. I think he's decently far ahead as well because Cure didn't start any upgrades. Now it always, as a viewer, it might be confusing because it's a 3cc opener, so you would think that if you deal any damage, this is great, but you spend a lot of money that usually goes into infrastructure like extra barracks and extra e-base, which now he doesn't have. So for the next couple of minutes, he will have way fewer units than he would usually have. So you can see this reflected in the supply in about a minute or 2 from now, where Cure is just not going to have anything, which means the Zerg can drone very, very freely, and his upgrades are also super late. This is what Cure sacrificed in order to be able to do this push to begin with, and that's why Serral should feel completely free to spread creep and make drones and tech up. These 3 things, there's very little Cure can do against it now.
Yeah, Cure knows that. He's going to try to push the creep back a little bit with these initial Marines, but Roaches are here on the edge of creep to protect it. Obviously, as soon as Hive is done, Serral is going to fire up a Dreno Glands, a couple Vipers. You also think he goes for an Ultra Cavern, or is it a bit too early to think about that?
I think he's going to go for the Ultra Cavern right away. He even built a CC on location, which on Golden Aura I think is a fair thing to do. Serral scouts it, so he knows, okay, Cure is probably going to camp for the rest of the game, because if you're not in a good position, I don't think you can attack into these Roach-based styles, especially with how late his upgrades are. I would like from Cure to even see a 3rd factory before extra barracks, because Marines without upgrades are just so bad at defending. So I think what he needs is walls and tanks if he wants to survive the onslaught that is about to happen once the Vipers have their energy.
Yep, Liberator is very useful obviously as well, as Serral should not have a lot of NTR on the other side of the map. We'll have some Ravagers. 5 Vipers, by the way, Serral. That's a lot of Vipers. I mean, I like it, I guess. If there's no Ghost Academy, and there won't be, there's not going to be any Vikings on the side of Cure. 5 is definitely pushing it, but I don't hate it. Abduct the city, baby.
Yeah, I don't. It's good in this scenario, but if the Terran actually makes Vikings against this style, a lot of Terrans started making blind Vikings because you play Ravagerling Bane Viper. You can't, like the Vipers are basically used as Banelings if there's Vikings because you don't have anti-air. So you can patrol them super far ahead of your base and make sure that the Vipers will die whenever they commit. But I don't know if Cure is such a player. He's playing the old school late game where he goes 8 Rex and not extra factories. Beyond, for example, plays 4 factories.
Nice multitasking here by Cure, right? Being in the top side and bottom side at the same time, but now unfortunately he's not paying attention and it's slow Banelings off creep that connect, right? When you give the man a compliment. I wanted to compliment him on at least denying that gold coming online in the bottom left, but obviously Serral's already sitting on 5 bases, and yeah, that slow Baneling connection, that's a painful moment for Cure. Does seem to happen to him every now and then in this matchup. He's obviously great at many things, but when it comes to having an army at home and then an army in the bottom left and top side of the map, there will often be a moment where Cure is going to fumble a little bit.
Yeah, I think Cure is like the Korean version of Piotr, where he's good strategically, has a big variety of builds, he plays very cleanly, but speed is not necessarily his strength. So yeah, that goes to what you were saying as well. And I thought that was super funny, the Jinx, when you just compliment him. He had the watchtower as well, so he saw it coming.
I know. Alright, here we go. Serral, can he get the W for us? 1 win is all that Basilisk needs to get all 3 points here as he lands a couple of abducts. These tanks are all going to get picked off. Corrosive Balls. Massive overkill there, by the way. 5 Ravages sending their Corrosive Ball for a 10 HP tank. But hey, a kill is a kill. The SKillous Cavern is online. The man has fired up. Kindness plating too. Gets the sensor tower here. That's going to make it a little bit harder for Cure to figure out where Serral is coming from. First wave, I'd say, was a success, as once more there are banelings connecting with Marines off creep. And the first game, guys, does get played on US West, so don't forget about that. This is the server where Korean players have an advantage over Europeans. Serral's looking good, but I would love to see him find even more with the next wave.
Yeah. This is the point of contention for Serral. He knows that this is the most open area that he's gonna get, and he can just continuously crush into this 5th base. And I'm not sure if he realizes, but he's also had an upgrade, so at some point in this game, there's gonna be +3 armor ultras against only +2 attack Marines, so the Ghost and the tanks will really need to carry their weight during these engagements, as there's 4 Vikings at the frontier. This is exactly what I was talking about. It's very annoying. You can see Serral needs to go back and take it very, very slowly. Sure, not paying
So well
attention
done,
there.
though. With the Queens there in the front lines, a double parabomb. The man has just killed 4 Vikings and lost absolutely nothing. Drops another parabomb on these medevacs. The medevac's not really moving, so that is a double kill. And if Serral can just get the planetary here, he is doing a phenomenal job for us. And of course, he will get it. He is going to retreat temporarily. 98 Zerglings on the production tab. We've got 5 drop lords as well on the right side. They're empty at the moment. Could be a massive fake. That'd be a cool play too.
That would be a cool play. Expecting a Terran to look at the minimap doesn't always work. Like, I've done fake baneling drops and then they just don't pull the SCVs. But there's actually a Viking spotting, which I also think is quite smart from Cure. He knows this Viking is already low HP. It's just gonna die to a parasitic bomb most likely, so he uses it as an anti-Nidus, anti-Dropper Lord Viking, which I think is super cool.
Gotta love it. We've got a Nidus network coming up as well. There are only orbitals here, but there is a tank keeping it safe. Yona really hates them sensor towers. He takes this one out. That one low HP Viking is gonna get a couple of hits off, but not enough to deny any of these drop lords to make it into the main. Here comes the Ling invasion, and obviously Serral wouldn't be Serral if he's not planning on another attack at that 6 o'clock base.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not attacking at the exact same time. He was probably waiting for the Vipers to get closer.
Yeah.
So he's gonna try to kill the planetary again. I wish Cure would make this base into an orbital, by the way. I think it's a mistake making it into a planetary because you can't lift it and can't save it, especially if you have high ground tanks. See, exactly like this. Like, you just lift this, you see, and then the tanks on the high ground will always eventually force the Zerg back, and then you just put it back down again. You might lose the SCVs every time there, but you're not planning on moving out anyway, so I would prefer him to just make this into an orbiter. He's remaking the planetary though.
That was actually pretty well defended by Cure, and perhaps not the best way by Yona. It would have been better if these things would have happened at the same time simultaneously. It makes it a lot harder for Cure to micro those Marines on 2 sides, and obviously make sure he reduces the surface area. But the good news for Serral is that he is damn rich, and he's actually mining up the 2 bases that normally are supposed to go 50-50. Zerg, more often than not, mines at the bottom left. They get their hands on the top right, but eventually they will lose it, and then the Terran takes control of it. If we're thinking about proper late game or end game, as some people like to call it, Cure is nowhere near that, right? Cure is nowhere near thinking of moving out and fighting over the top right or bottom left, while Serral is already comfortably mining off both bases.
Yeah, I also love the Yona Nidus. He's the one that made this one happen, where he always puts the Nidus away from the hatchery, so if you are out of position from these exposed bases, you can still save the drones and just rotate them towards the other side of the map. So that's something very cute that Yona started doing, that a lot of people now have copied. As he's going once again, still no 3-3 for the Terran, so these ultras are going to be super tanky against the bio itself. He decides to not go for the full engagement. He doesn't really need to do it. As long as he mines the top right, he can wait until Cure tries to take a 6th base or push one of the sides. It's kind of on Cure to do something.
Yeah.
So Serral can wait until Cure exposes more of his tanks, more of his bio, towards either the far bottom left of the map, or to expand towards the top right, which would mean that he needs to split his units a little bit more and then find a more favorable engagement. That one doesn't look too good on the ramp, but he still gets a couple of tanks, and somehow it didn't even end up that poorly for him.
Yeah, no, that actually looked like a decent amount of Terran units going down there. Absolutely have been loving these queens here at the front line. Cure is going to throw down another skin to just push the creep back a tiny bit. But Cure needs a lot more than just stabilizing on these 5 bases that he's currently working with. Of course, he can always still take the 6 that's above his main. But ideally, if this game does truly go on for a long time, he needs to start slowing Serral down, mining up these corner bases. Otherwise, there really is no happy ending here. I mean, we can sit off creep with Ghost, liberate a tank forever. I think Serral's is going to become a little too rich.
Yeah. And Cure will run out of resources eventually as well. He's trying to take the gold base, which I think is not the correct approach. I think his better chance would be to take the top 6 base and then push the top right base, because that also has way more resources to work with. The gold base isn't a full base, and the amount of minerals that are left to mine is actually very important at this stage of the game. So I don't mind him pushing here and denying this base in general, but then I would rather see him expand towards the top himself, because this also splits him, but for a lesser, for a worse outcome.
I feel that Serral should be able to take a good fight here, by the way, with the Ultras, the Queens. This army of Cure is really not that powerful. I know the Ghosts are the scary part, and they are waiting on the low ground. And maybe Cure's setup here is a tiny bit of bait, knowing he's going to lose some of these units. Yona, the disrespect, as he's going to take the 6th base of Cure. I mean, we talk about how one of the corner bases belongs to Cure, but that base absolutely does belong to Cure.
Yeah, but Serral sees that, okay, you want to defend the bottom left side somehow, you want to take that base, then I just take the right side completely. Because Cure can't be on both sides of the map. I mean, he can if he drops units there, but...
I mean, eventually if Cure, his army, his SV count goes down a little bit, his army supply will go up. He ain't quite there yet, and he probably feels it's a little bit too early to start donating SCVs. As Serral finds another pickup. Serral's done such a great job here. I would love to see the unit's lost resource tab. I don't know if you kept an eye on it, because with all those kills on the Vikings and tanks over and over again, I actually feel that some of Serral's trades have actually been pretty damn good.
Yeah, I think Serral should be like down 7k resources at this point, not maybe too much more. As he engages in once more, like this is a cost-effective trade for Cure for sure, but he needs even better than that. He's now making Thors in case there are Broodlords, which they absolutely aren't. He's starting a Hellbat transition as well. He's starting Blue Flame. Yona just finds something with the corrosive bites always.
Yep, and I love a double kill with corrosive bites, where it's oracles or medevacs. It's just cool. When even those are connecting, you know, it's unfair. And even if that previous fight, by the way, by Serral may not have been the best trade, what he does do is he pushes Cure all the way back again, technically, right? Because Cure loses his entire staging ground on the high ground, so he needs to unseat some tanks, move the tanks back up. We are spamming parasitic bombs non-stop, and if a Queen just shoots once or twice at a Viking, that's pretty much a guaranteed Viking. These tanks are exposed. Ghost could be in a tiny bit of trouble. Whoa, that medevac was mega low on HP. Imagine if an Abduct would have landed on a medevac carrying 4 Ghosts. Serious precious cargo. But again, Serral pushes Cure back all the way to the bottom of this ramp, while he's still mining from the top right, and he's still mining of the bottom left.
Yeah, and he's even mining off Cure's base in the center right now of the map as well, so... I mean, Serral is just trying to buy time for mining out this gold base, and also just any trades are good for him at this point. He's just out mining Cure to a degree that is not normal for this matchup.
This command center reminds me of myself in high school when we had a group project. I'm gonna take this base, right guys? Like, if you guys just lay the foundation, I promise I'll be useful. But hasn't really been very useful ever since. A couple of lightning clouds going down, tanks once more derping. One of the Thors is gonna get surrounded, will get blown up as well. I mean, sure, the Ghost, they should stay safe near the planet Earth. I think even a Ghost or 2 went down there. But Serral is just making it impossible. The guy from Lord of the Rings, you shall not pass. Cure realizing that he can actually cloak as he sees no overseers here. I feel like it's been a long time since we've seen Ghost cloak. Might be the first time in this game.
Yeah. There's a lot of energy wasted as well, but he didn't really use the Ghost that often, so he still is very healthy in the energy department. I wonder where Cure's army is, because we're constantly just seeing like 50 army supply.
I think he's
maybe
tank
he
heavy.
units to the right.
I think he's tank heavy. The unit, maybe something was stuck in the main, because earlier he did leave a lot of units behind. I just think there's a lot of tanks sieged up everywhere.
Yeah, that's possible. We can see a big blue blob that just came from the original third base. Yeah, there's so many tanks. That's actually crazy. Yeah, he's given up on the left side. I think that's a good call. I think this is the call that he should have made to begin with. And now he's slow pushing the top. It's just that Yona already set up here now, and he already mined resources from that base.
One power bomb there in the center, by the way. Ooh. Quad kill immediately. Because we are gonna just spam them on the Vikings, and a lot of these Vikings will fall. Here come the Ultras, here come the Banelings. The Serral supply is plummeting very, very quick though, because there is Planetary Fortress support here as well. I mean, this was definitely an expensive fight for Serral. Thank the Lord that he's been rich. I think he has been able to evacuate most of the drones of this base too. That was a good fight by Cure. Can't say it any other way.
Yeah, we see the resource loss now. He's 8k down only. which is completely fine if you mine an extra base. Compared to your opponent, I think that's about 20k resources that you mine, and your opponent doesn't, so... we can see that reflected in the bank as well. Cure's money will also stop going up as rapidly as it has been going up for the past couple of minutes, because his original 5 bases will all start mining out relatively soon. So Cure needs to make a play towards the top side of the map.
And Cure knows that this is a base that he can absolutely not let Serral get control of. Serral mined some resources, not all that many. We're gonna see if these links can cause some chaos with a tiny run by. There's a free tank there perhaps, even though there's so many guns nearby to protect it, so Serral does not commit on it. Does find this one. This is some of that supply, by the way, that we were wondering about earlier, right? You see even tank seeds up here. Serral does find a couple of tanks for mostly Zerglings. These are not links, by the way, that you can ignore, because before you know it, you can lose the starport. A little run by in the top right. And Serral has just found like 5 tanks with what? Mostly Zerglings.
Yeah. He needs to be cautious though, because he's gonna run out of minerals as well at some point. I think he pulled drones of the original mineral bases, of the safe bases that he had. So his actual 5th base, for example, still looks very healthy. But he can also run out of minerals and then be forced into Brutal Earth Infestor, because that's the only gas-heavy composition that you can make.
Yeah, I think
And
the
Cure's
base
already ready
on
for
the right
that.
side of his main is mega fresh. Like he had it for a long time, but he never saturated it. So there are a lot of resources left there. 12 o'clock, I guess, is an easy way to say.
Yeah. He just shuffled 3 ultras towards the bottom left side of the map. He just teleported.
I'm only only time I would get worried about Serral's position is if Cure now slowly gets rid of a couple of SCVs and that Terran army gets bigger and bigger. The ghost control so far has been pretty good. We saw a few Banes connect. It's a shame that Serral wasn't able to land that abduct in the bottom left, because there was a low HP medevac with 4 ghosts inside of it. Also surprised, by the way, that only now we are getting a fusion core to, I guess, work on some advanced ballistics.
Yeah, I wonder if Cure is actually playing for a draw now. If it's a draw, does the map get replayed? Or does it just not count in WTL?
I think it's... I don't know, but I think it's way too early to talk about draws. And as long as there are ghosts...
Yeah, of course. It's not going to end in a draw. It's almost never does. But what I mean is I don't think Cure should move out. I think if Cure moves out, he loses his chance of winning. I think he just is fine with Serral mining the rest, because Serral mined the complete bottom left. Yeah. If he moves out now towards the top right, he's going to take a way worse trade than if he would just literally stay AFK inside his own base. And there's very little resource in the top right. As Serral finally engages in the bottom left, all these tanks that we saw earlier, they got picked off by the Zerglings. So only a single tank and a planetary are there, and he kills the planetary that still had some resources there.
We need to actually properly kill it though, because he was derping a little bit. Only 2 ultras at a time, and there were 26 SCVs repairing this planetary. Look at that PF. It lived for such a long time. In the end, it does go down. But it took a little bit longer than it was supposed to take. Secure is going to take out the top right, meanwhile. Incredibly quick. A couple Banelings would have been nice there, because that base was heavily oversaturated on the side of Cure. So when it was only a couple of ultras attacking it, he was able to repair it with 20 SCVs. And I don't think I need to tell you how good repair is.
No. As a Zerg player, I'm well aware. I've tried to kill a planetary with 30 Hydras and failed, so...
Unless I've got Immortals, I'm staying away with those bad boys.
Yeah, Baneling is kind of the key unit there for the Zerg, as even these couple of resources, there's probably like around 2,000 minerals still there left to be mined in that base. So that's nice as well for Serral to deny that, because I don't think Cure is ever going to mine that for the rest of the game. Now starting to pick off some air units.
I love
this is where Serral is the best at.
Yep.
He just finds these pickoffs. He constantly seems to have the time to micro his units and then find the exact spot where the Terran isn't paying attention, even though he's moving through a sensor tower.
This is what makes Serral, right? Because it may not seem like it's that impactful to kill 2 Vikings and a Liberator, but if you do this 10 times over the last 8 minutes, it does truly start adding up, and that's how he just keeps them broke. As Serral says, it is time to take out another base. This may be a base without any resources, but it's always nice to open the doors for eventually your attacks to become a bit more terrifying and find some more success. You know, if you're Cure, it's kind of sad as well. It's almost like this guy that has dedicated his entire life to find that treasure. And then you finally have the coordinates on a map, and you spoke to the right people on the island, and they know where the ship went down. And you make it to the top right, and there are 500 minerals left on every single mineral patch. You're like, what the hell? I dedicated my life to this. Like, this ain't worth it.
Yep. There is not much loot to find over here. He's dropping the moose. He's even making a planetary to, I guess, keep the position safe. But yeah, Serral did a good job at taking this base early on. I think he took it at like the 13-14 minute mark, and he has mined it ever since with a full saturation. So Cure will not get that many more resources. His freshest base is a 3 o'clock position. And other than that, there's not much more. So the question now is, can you...
Sorry, go ahead.
Can you trade efficiently enough is all I was gonna say. As Yona actually lost a Viper there to the Ghost in the end.
I was very worried he was about to pull a Reynor there, but Reynor would have lost both. So just losing one is okay.
I would have lost all the Corruptors, you know.
It's okay, the Corruptors, I mean, sure, they are kind of expensive, but the Vipers are just nice to always have around to get those non-stop pickups and some value here and there. 9 Broodlords on the way for Serral. First time Broodlords are going to make an appearance in this game, as we have those Infestors that you mentioned earlier as well. Combo of a fungal growth, a parasitic bomb, and then the Broodlords doing their thing. I like it.
Yeah. This is the only time where you make Broodlords, is when the game is so static that the Terran can't just push on 2 sides and then push wherever the Broodlords aren't, because the Terran army then is more mobile. And it's also when you want to spend your gas, it's like the most gas intensive army that you can make, the army that can actually trade somewhat evenly against what the Terran has. Also,
yeah, go ahead.
I watched Yuna stack 5 drones on a very left mineral patch so they don't get shot by tanks. This guy is such a tryhard.
And I'm very happy that he is, mate. He's fighting for us, and Basilisk just needs one more win. Important. I know a lot of you guys join while these games are going on. In the WTL code as you play best of 2s. There are 3 individual best of 2s. The first team that get 4 map wins will take home 3 points. If the score is 3-3 after 6 games, we go to a best of 1 ace match. So if Serral wins this one, we get the dub. Of course, we'll play that final game as well, but it won't be all that important anymore. The Broodlords have revealed themselves over here in the top right. The Liberators are gonna get abducted. Another tank gets abducted. The Vipers have been awesome.
Yeah, good Viper usage from Yona. I wonder if his plan is to push here, or if it might be smarter to push towards the bottom with the Broodlords. I guess he's still mining from this space, so he can't leave the space alone. He needs to have this Broodlords position over here.
Almost feels like he was thinking of a surround there, but that seems very risky. One fungo whiffs. This game, of course, played on US West. The first game always gets played on US West when it's Koreans against Europeans. I mean, Cure's army supply right now is pretty intimidating, 170, and the ghost count is relatively high.
Yeah, I think the game plan from Serral right now is to wait until he's fully mined out and just not do anything until then, because he's happy with how much of the map he has mined, and then he just says, okay, at that point I'm gonna start trading. He goes forward, finds this planetary. Now I don't think Cure is gonna keep fighting for this, because it's only gas left to mine there.
Cure's got gas. Doesn't really have gas for days, but he does have gas.
Where is Cure going? Is he actually gonna attack?
I think the bottom. There's still money left in the
still.
bottom. It ain't much, but it's honest work. 600, so around 1350 left here. Look at Serral. He's there immediately.
I'm surprised he's pulling everything, because the top base has significantly more resources still left to mine.
You mean the one next to Serral's main?
Yeah, the 3 o'clock.
Yeah, but does he know? Wait. Oh, that one. Okay, from Cure.
Yeah, from Cure.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Cure is moving everything here, because just Ling Bane could kill the 3 o'clock right now.
Yeah, that's an important one. Obviously, Serral still has plenty of resources at his 12 o'clock base, and Serral now has taken the extractors in the top right. So he says, if you don't want that gas, that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and get my hands on it. Serral's drone count has also gone down a little bit, which I do think is important. At this point, A, it's completely useless to have 80 drones, and B, you make life so hard, because 120 supply of Zerg is never gonna kill this army of Cure.
Yeah. He's so good at this Broodlord movement, it's crazy. Cure didn't go for the Viking version, where you go Viking Liberator and he can't transition anymore. He did go for the Thors, and he's committed on that army now. So wherever the map gets choky, it should favor Serral significantly. So Serral wants to force Cure into chokes, and Cure wants to fight with a huge concave. That's what the two players now want.
Few Links still looking for some freebies, but Cure's got a pretty good setup defensively, so that's not going to be that easy anymore. Comes down to the spellcasting. Cure looking for some big EMPs as well. Serral's going to make that incredibly hard for him.
Oh, good fungal there initially. Gets a lot of units with the Broodlords before any of the Broodlords die. And I think now Serral should kite here because this looks like a bad engagement if he decides to go for it. Loses a couple of Broodlords at the tail end of the fight, but huge fungal once again. Broodlords getting so much value there together with the spell casting.
Paro Bomb as well there, right? The combo of fungal growth and parasitic bomb on a couple of those Vikings and Liberators. We saw Cure kill some of his Medivacs earlier as we have a tank drive-by. Hashtag rollout. Roll of tanks, baby. It's a great game, Lambo. Just give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you were paid to say that, but
many years ago I may have been, but actually that game is not that bad. I mean,
yeah.
It is a pay-to-win game. That's the bad part about it. But other than that, it's not a bad game.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Serral looking for more freebies as he has plenty of energy left on his Infestus, by the way. Could land some sick fungals. Liberators leading the charge. I don't know where the Vipers are at, but that's the beautiful thing about Serral. He's always hiding them. There goes one of these parabombs. The Banelings finding some good connections. Goals start dropping. I mean, Serral is losing low supply as Neuro Parasite is going to come into play as well, but all the Infestus do end up dying. Thank the Lord that Serral is rich and he's going to remax on 66 Zerglings and 9 Ultras. I mean, I don't hate it. Cure doesn't even have the money to repair this army anymore.
Yeah. Like, this is exactly what it looks like when... Like, Serral won the game not because of this fight, but because of how the game went the previous 20 minutes. It's just because he mined more of the map that he now has more resources. He can remax twice, and Cure cannot remax even a single time. Even though he had more units left over, he has no resources left in the bank. So Cure is now staying at home, and now I think he's actually playing for the draw, but there's no way at this point.
Does he have money to repair his Thors, you think? I don't think so, right? It's too expensive.
No. Yeah.
Too expensive. Is this it? Is this going to be the push that's going to put Basilisk up 4-1, which obviously means that this Clem war will come to an end. 4 points is all you need for the 3 points in the regular season. Both teams had 4 wins and 2 losses coming into today. I don't know about Infestus leading the charge. Broodlords coming in from the top right. I want to say I like more, but the Ghost actually sniped each and every single one of them. So this becomes an important fight for Serral. How good are these Ultras? The Space Cows against the Thors and the tanks. I'm very happy that a couple of them are low on HP as Cure is running out of units, ran out of money. And that will do it, Lambo. GG gets called. Serral secures the W for Basilisk.
GG. Well played by Serral. And Cure just pressed rewind and he saw that Serral was still maxed.
And it's like it was so close in my mind. But
yeah. I know that feeling. When I play late game against Yona, I tap out and he has a bank.
Alright, we do get one more map, guys, because there is a bit of money on the line for every single game that gets played in the regular season of WTL Code S. And no matter the score, we always play out the 3 initial best of 2s. But no ace matches today. Cure is going to pick a Ghost River. Maybe Serral can give us more of that Serral magic he showed versus Oliveira on this map.
True. I wonder what he's going to do this time. If he busts out the Ling Bane again or if he goes for Roaches. Also, the map score just in general is important, right? Very often the map score actually decides in one of the positions which team gets which position in the playoffs, and the positions are very important because it advances you in the bracket. You basically need to play less matches.
I just want to make sure that Liquid Clum doesn't have his weird weekend again where he becomes absolutely invincible. And I feel pretty good, mate, no matter where we start in those playoffs.
Okay.
But it would be fun as well to actually have a few more matches at once, because previous seasons we did very good in the regular season, but then the playoffs didn't really go our way. Perhaps we just need to heat up like a diesel engine.
True. Yeah, there can be an advantage to it as well. But 2 of these, even just 2 of these clan wars in the postseason can take forever. So it's also, it can be draining. It definitely also can be an advantage to have less matches.
For sure, I think that's actually where we made a little mistake in the first season of our playoffs. The first time ever we made playoffs, we let Serral start, and Serral all killed what's the name of the Korean team again? It's not really a team. Where they...
Navi? No, Envy.
No, when they just team up together. When they're all teamless and they form a team to play in... damn it, what's it called? They had the weird symbol. How was that called again? You know which one I mean. Abydos.
I don't know
Abydos Gaming, you know? Abydos.
Okay. I know which team that is.
Yeah.
I didn't know you guys played against them.
Yeah, the first season we played against them, and then Serral all killed, but obviously that kind of drained Serral a little bit, and maybe that made him a bit weaker into the finals, because that was on the same day. Perhaps that was a bit of a mistake. Anyway, we live and we learn. It goes River Lambo. Top left is Cure, as he's playing for honor. And a point, top right, protecting his great stats. I think the man with the highest win percentage record in regular season history of the WTL Code S, it is Serral.
Yeah, pretty nice. He's going gas pool. So a different opener from him as well. Once again, the pull first to get the third base down, but also with some aggressive potential against CC first from Cure. If Cure doesn't scout, this is going to be trouble for Cure. The reason this is worse, usually CC first is very good against pull first, but against gas pool, you have way more SCVs on your natural than you usually would have. So just 8 speedlings can completely ruin your day as a Terran with this build order matchup.
Cure has not scouted yet. No SCVs heading to the other side of the map. 2 gases coming online. Serral is going to make a few links. I was chuckling a little bit earlier because Serral took his hands off the keyboard and he started stroking his chin. And one time my brother was bragging about how good he was at Red Alert, and I was like, alright, I'll come over, I'll watch you play a game. And it was the ultimate dad gaming pose I've ever seen. Only mouse, click, 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 one hand underneath his chin. And Serral just reminded me of my big brother. In his mind, a top video gamer.
Yeah, I think Serral's just gonna hide his Zerglings. This is looking good for Serral so far. I think Abydos was just Team Envy, by the way. No, when Team Envy disbanded, they just made Abydos, and it was exactly the Envy players, if I recall correctly.
But I think they opened the doors for more as well, and they had that weird symbol that reminded me of a certain time period.
Okay. I thought the symbol just looked like Aston Martin.
Yeah, a little bit as well, but I don't know. It's okay. Moving on.
Oh, this is so lucky for Cure. He didn't pay attention. Okay, now he's looking.
Yeah. I think he saw it towards the very end.
Well, he's not pulling the SCVs to his main. The SCVs need to be pulled to their main, otherwise he does. Okay, now he understands. Is it in time?
No, don't forget, it's ping advantage. I don't know you can do the swapperoo here. I don't think you can. Exactly. He wanted to swap the factory with the barracks. But now he's going to actually be forced to repair that depot. I don't know what we're doing with our Reaper. I guess our Reaper just died. Really need to start repairing. The man will repair. Is that enough? Yes, that is enough.
Yeah, the Reaper barely got away into his own main base. Was chased by like 2 Zerglings. And this is still annoying for Cure because he now doesn't have enough units to retake his own natural. 2 Marines and a Hellion is not enough against 10 Zerglings, so... Even now, Yuna is being very annoying, even though he didn't get a lot of SCV kills here, he just got 1 plus the depot. But it's still an annoying position for Cure.
There is a Roach one as well, going down on the production tab. You think there's a chance we get a quick follow-up, or maybe we get some fancy Drop Lord Queen play, Miko style?
I think that's only 2 base build. In that case, you already would have needed the lair. This would be a little bit too late. I'm expecting him to just go... He could Roach Ravager Lingoll in, but for that he would have needed 2 extra gases already. So I think he's just going to play normal Roach and maybe go into Ultras, is my expectations for this game.
I think even Yona would be down to play another 35-minute ZVT on Ghost River if that's what it takes to protect his stats.
To protect us. I don't know how much he cares about that. I think he's gonna go Ultras and try to run it down.
I mean, even it's gonna be a little bit exhausting as this Viking does get that final volley of kills the Overlord. That's nice. Serral looking for a tiny surround, but he ain't getting it. So obviously he does have ping advantage this time around. Gets to play on US Central, not having to do it on Ghost River. Still probably kind of annoying. What would you rather do, mate? Play on a good map for you on US West, or you play on a bad map, or play on US Central?
Good map on West, for sure. Maybe not on this map pool, because but in general against Terran, I think ping matters the most. Also from the Zerg side, it's extremely annoying to play on ping. But I still think having a good map is better than the ping advantage.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Hello Gemini, hello Franzi, welcome guys. As we have Cloak on the way for a Cure. This final match, that doesn't really matter. No more stress, no more pressure. We don't have to worry about ace matches, etc. Obviously not very fun for the neutral spectator, but good news for me. Well, a nice little win streak now, by the way, Lambo. Started the regular season off 0-2, now 5-2. We're coming.
That's true. You guys still have all the top teams so left, right? Well, with this week as well. You guys didn't even start against the top teams.
That's not true. We played DKZ.
All right, so you played one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was very surprising to see the start that you guys had against quote-unquote not the top teams, even though Starlight Twinkle is not to be underestimated, of course.
No. Yeah, that was a bit of a hiccup. I think DKZ could happen, especially if we don't have Yona. Like, obviously, they have a very good team. 1-1 upgrades and combat shield on the way for Cure. As Cure is just chilling, he is going to take his time. Throws out a scan and actually ruins all of the hard work of Yona when it comes to spreading the creep on the top side. Perfect timing on this spore though. Kind of feels like this game is going to slow down a little bit. We have a Hydralisk den on the way. Do you think we're going to get some quick lurkers then?
Yep, has to be. It's the cave bob style that Dark popularized a little while ago. Which means that Cure has to play late game. There is no way he can attack into this. Unless he has a super good early game, it's very difficult to punish the Zerg for doing that. But this style's weakness is that you can't do anything aggressive right away. So if you know this is coming, you can, for example, as a Terran go forward CC on location, make an orbital there because you don't really have a lot of links to run by any of that, and then go into a late game, start Ghost Academy super early, and just start the late game with a head start. We'll see if Cure figures this out, because so far he obviously didn't scout the Lurker then or the Hydra then.
But this is also not something we say very often. Serral was actually a bit out of position to deal with his drop, and Cure couldn't really believe it either, right? That's why he was so cautious. He's like, oh, I'll work on the extractor. And he's like, wait a minute, I don't see any units. And all the units that were in the center of the map now had enough time to make their way back home. I think if Cure played it a tiny bit more YOLO and he stims forward, it takes out the spore, he actually could have done a little more than just kill an extractor.
Yep. Now obviously this mistake that won't happen twice to Yona. He now has 2 spores in position plus a couple of roaches. As he starts up his first Vipers, he's also going to start up Lurker range probably the moment the Lurker then is done, and then he's going to try to look towards moving towards the other side of the map and either hit with a Blinding Cloud attack or just abduct tanks one by one.
I can't believe that this has now been a 2-hour Clem war already and we're not even going to an ace match. It doesn't happen very often in WTL, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true.
4 base Yona is about to make it 5 base, and as the first lurkers on the way, Cure is gonna get that second factory. In the previous game you mentioned you really felt he should have gone triple factory rather than extra barracks. He did not end up doing that. Is that something you would also enjoy on Ghost River, or would you say it's completely unnecessary?
I think it's good in general. I just hope that he doesn't max out with Marine Tank, because you need to trade these units away against the style that Serral is playing. I tried to teach this to Bjorn as well. It's difficult to tell Bjorn to not make Marines.
I believe that, mate.
yeah, but then Maru did it, and then some Terrans started copying it as well, so now Bjorn does it too.
Look at Serral, he's like, he is forced to cancel the bottom right, and now he takes center left. If Cure accidentally flies a medevac there or a Marine, he's gonna be like, mate, come on now. That base does absolutely not belong to you. This ain't Golden Aura, but Serral's already here with his Vipers. He's gonna land a couple of abducts, gets 2 tanks very quickly. Do we have a Ghost Academy at all? Like, I don't think we do, right?
Yeah, that's definitely a mistake. I think Cure didn't realize what he was up against for too long. And, I mean, he should still start the Ghost Academy. It's a very cheap building, it builds very quickly.
And it is very tanky.
Yeah, it's very tanky, as you taught me that.
3 queens are gonna get picked off here, and the drone. Serral is gonna load a couple lurkers, as he's gonna maybe spread those between the natural and the main base. That could really cause crazy chaos, because right now Cure doesn't have the easy anti-lurker units, right? No liberators, no ghosts with snipe, so if you're forced to stim into them if they're already burned, that's gonna be annoying. Don't forget the E-base are here as well. I wouldn't even hate almost all the lurkers going at this point, and that's basically what Serral does, all but one. I love it. I would love to see him go for the eBay, but obviously that's risky because you want to make sure that you have an answer if he snipes in. That one drop lord does get picked off with the lurker inside of it, but this is still a lot of lurkers. At least Tutu is going to finish off for Cure.
And Cure had 2 tanks in position, but he rallied them into the lurkers. So before that, I thought it was fine as long as his upgrades finish. It's not too bad for him. But now it's going to take forever for him to get rid of these lurkers in his own natural, because as you said, there are no liberators. He has 0 ghost, so he needs to siege his tanks forward slowly but surely. And he's not doing a good job of that because there's obviously other things going on.
He's gonna see this base now, by the way, for the first time. And lurkers just burrowed. WTL Observer one time. Show us the lurkers. Oh, lurkers are battling marines in the center of the map, and the WTL Observer did not give it them.
He did not give it them. I think he just didn't know. Poor guy, trying his best. So yeah, Serral once again engages. He gets one of the tanks, throws down a parasitic bomb as well at the same time. And yeah, he now has a completely illegal base. I've never seen a Zerg actually mine from this, but Serral is doing it now.
We did manage to sneak a couple ghosts out, and those ghosts, one snipey at a time, do manage to clean up the natural, but it took a long time. Cure's economy obviously hurting a little bit. More lurkers making their way forward. They have a planetary here. Planetaries will buy some time, and it's not just marine tank anymore. There's a couple liberators in the mix too. I wonder what the lurker count is at the moment. I see 7 of them on the production tab. How many do you think Serral has left overall?
I think not that many, so I think it's overall 10 maybe after the 7 finish. I think it's very interesting to see that Serral is staying on a super low drone count. It's almost as if he's trying to bait Cure to attack into him, because you see this base as a turn and you think, okay, this can't be possible. I cannot let this go down, and then try to overwhelm him with a huge army supply, because at this point usually you want 80 to 90 drones at the very least. And Serral doesn't have any of that, so even though this game is going super for him so far, his bank is not as oppressive as it was the last couple of games. And Cure is doing exactly that now. He's going for the push, he's F2ing all of his units towards the bottom, and he's gonna try to kill that base. Yona ready for it, and he's instantly counter-attacking. This is not a wall, by the way, I'm not sure why we're pretending that this is actual wall off, but there's just 3 random depots. Unloads both lurkers.
Of course he is able to unload both lurkers right before the end. Couple Vipers in the mix, and first abduct is going to be a fact. Now Serral's going to move the lurkers back, knowing that the ghosts are getting a little bit closer. I mean, Cure's got a very good army. As Serral is firing off 7 more Overlords, by the way, gives us the feeling that he probably wants to go for more Dropper Lord play, knowing that otherwise it's going to be very hard to slow Cure down. How does Serral break Cure here? Because it does look like Cure is pretty bulletproof now.
It does look like it. I think he's just banking on Cure moving into him. Because if Cure just sits there, his army is so good, there should be no way for Serral to ever engage. So he's trying to trade over time with these abducts. It's crazy that his opponent has Vikings and like 20 ghosts and he still manages to find abducts.
Yeah. I think Cure is just looking elsewhere. There's a drone now attacking an SCV in the bottom left. Cure maybe was still busy with those lurkers from the Drop Lord on the top, as we do see a scan on the minimap go down. Yona sends over a couple of roaches and a single Hydra. Oh, Ghost Miss Rally. These are pickups that do really matter. I mean, Cure has ghosts for days and he has money for days. So it's not the end of the world, but that's kind of expensive.
It's very expensive. I think it's always good to picture 3 ghosts dying as if it were 3 tanks, because it's the same cost. And then, like, if you kill 3 tanks, it just looks much bigger. The ghost just looks small. So you might not think it's as impactful, but they're super expensive. If you just look at the banks and the supplies, this usually would look good for Terran. It's just that
it's Yona.
He won't have his... It's Yona and he won't have his 6 base. Like, he needs to do something.
Maybe Cure feels that he has a setup that is good enough that even without the 6 base. This is obviously where ping does start mattering a little bit, by the way. Now we're going to have to play late game on US Central. That's going to be a little bit more difficult for Cure to maybe move those ghosts to safe positions. As Yona fires up 44 links. A lot of low HP SCVs. It seems like we had a tiny lurker run by attempt behind. Oh, he has one behind the middle line, actually. That's how these SCVs get so low on HP.
I think Cure is slowly running out of scans as well, because he doesn't have that many extra orbitals. Or none. Actually, he has one, I think, next to his 3rd base. And he's morphing one extra one right now.
Look at that tank. Getting a couple of very big shots off. But in the end, Jonas still finds a tiny opening. Unfortunately, access denied. And Marines with these upgrades are going to do very well against the Roaches. I don't think Serral's too sad about it. Kind of wants to get rid of them. And he can make better units.
It's still just 2 upgrades, by the way, against +3 armor. So these Roaches did surprisingly well against Marines with medevacs. I think Cure forgot those upgrades for a little bit once again. Yeah, Cure is just struggling to take his own side of the map, which is something that I usually never see on this map. And it's even more important on this map than on other maps because you only have 6 bases. So it's not like on Golden Aura where Yona takes the corner base and then he still has 6 bases for himself. At this point, he only will have 5 bases to mine if he lets Serral mine out his 6th base. And you're not even mining from the bottom left, complete bottom left base now as well.
Cure literally saw that center base, I think like 10 seconds too late. Right when Serral moved Lurkers over for the first time to really defend it, and it's like, I'm serious about this base. That's when Cure found it, but it was obviously a little bit too late already to do something about it. While he was so focused on denying center right and bottom right, and he actually was doing a really good job, right? He got back-to-back cancels, got a kill. So Cure did a lot of things right. It just did not even come to his mind that Serral may have been taking a base on his side of the map. And by the time he saw it, it was a little bit too late. These mining clouds are quite big. That's a lot of clumped up tanks. Cure not really ready to take this fight as his supply takes a serious hit. Now we got a lot of Banelings in the mix too. Banelings connecting with goals. Oh, SCVs clumped up. What an attack by Serral. Gets the planetary. Gets 21 SCVs and a bunch of expensive Terran units. Is that it, Lambo?
I think I'm afraid so. I have no clue why all of his tanks were unsieged. I'm not sure if he misclicked it or if he wanted to move forward in exactly that moment, but they were unsieged for like a solid 5 seconds. And Yona saw it and instantly pounced. And the resource loss is almost even, which is unheard of. Against a Terran that just comes from the get-go. It's so difficult to do.
And on Ghost River as well.
Yeah, I don't know how he does it.
I think that is a feeling that many people have around the world whenever they watch this man play, as the Ghosts on the left side are forced to run for the hills. Lings are on top of them. Banelings are still alive as they ran through the center. There was just nothing for them to really connect with. Serral will get a few more expensive units towards the end. There is a very, very low HP Infestor that is waiting to land the fungal. That scan does not reveal it. Serral lost a lot of units there, but Serral is rich is something that Cure is not, as he now even got his hands on the bottom left side.
Yeah, and he's running a Lurker back to Cure's forward base once again, which isn't a planetary anymore. There's no tank there either to guard it. I think Serral overmined gas a little bit, so he's struggling with well, struggling. He still has a 3k mineral bank, but there's more gas, I think, than he wants to.
Maybe he just ran out of larva for a split second.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, Cure is spending his money, and his supply is not looking too hot.
And his SCV count is not looking too hot anymore either. And 35 SCVs is fine if we've got 5k in the bank and we are maxed out. But Cure is nowhere near maxed out. These goals having a very hard time, but good job by Cure actually keeping most of them alive, as he does do something about this bottom left side. So strong minute here by Cure. First a pretty decent fight, now an even better follow-up fight. Serral does need to be a tiny bit more careful, because yes, he's rich. But 1900 minerals is something you can burn through very, very quick.
Yeah. Maybe the play against Serral is to losers pick Dynasty, honestly. Because I mean, this map is too normal. He can still outplay you here. Which is crazy, because this map is really good for Terran, but yeah, it's looking quite one-sided. As you said, I think if he actually managed to kill this base earlier on, this would not have happened at all. Because this base was super killable the entire time.
I mean, I think at one point Serral didn't even really believe in keeping this base alive because he had 0 units here. It was almost like the hidden base from Zerg. And with creep showing up on your minimap, there shouldn't really be a thing. Cure was so focused on center right and bottom right that he saw this a little bit too late. It is a ridiculous amount of lurkers running on top of Ghost. Cure sees it a little bit too late. That could have been slightly more devastating, but Serral still finds more economic damage as Lings and Banes in the center are good enough. Serral does what he pretty much always does, and that is get a 2-0 on the board. Basilisk plus ShoWTimE 5, Team Liquid 1. As we improve to 5 wins and 2 losses in the regular season, and Team Liquid drops to 4 wins and 3 losses.
Yep. So you guys are now tied, but you have more points, I believe, right?
I think we have 1 more point than them, no? Because we were both 4 and 2. I think they were up 2 points. We got 3. They get 0.
Yeah, that's true.
+1.
All right. +1. Looking good. Your team, obviously, if you have Serral, is very, very, very difficult to beat.
And don't forget, they might have me as well.
Yeah, ready for the ace as well.
Yep. I mean, if it's 3-3 Shopify Rebellion against Basilisk, you guys sending out Dr. Dario, I'm sending out myself.
We're down for that, by the way.
Me too.
We can shake on that right now.
No, actually, I don't have permission to shake on that. But you know what? I know some of the boys might believe in me. All right, Lambo. Thank you so much for asking me if I want to cast these games today. It was a lot of fun, as always. Any final words, mate, before I let you go?
No, just thanks for having me. And yeah, good luck in 2 weeks when we play against each other.
I'm looking forward to that. Wait, what day is that exactly? Let me take a look at the date. Wow, that is the day that the Netherlands are going to become European champions in Berlin. Jeez Louise, what a day.
It's Grand Finals day.
Well, that's going to be a memorable one. I might actually be in Berlin that day, guys, watching the Netherlands win the second Euros that we have ever won. Once more, history is going to repeat itself, but I'll do my best. You know, maybe I can combine the two. Be in Berlin and still play the Shopify Rebellion.
I can't believe it. Earlier, I tuned into RotterdaM stream and he asked me what exactly Germany did. How many times were you guys world champions? The Netherlands?
We made the finals like 3 times, mate.
Yeah, how many times did you win it? I remember
how many
nice
times did we get robbed?
Iniesta,
Three times. 3 times we got robbed.
Okay. Well, we won it more than 3 times, so even that is... we will see. We will see how it goes.
I'm not living in the past, mate. I'm living in the present. And all I know is that we're about to lift the trophy in Berlin, baby.
I doubt it.
All right. Mate, have a great day. Greetings and give my love to Loof. And I wish you a great weekend.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Enjoy tomorrow. All right, guys. That was Lambo. Lambo wanted to cast these games with me. I thought it was a fun and a good idea, so we went for it. Happy with this win. Obviously, big win for us. I have on Friday night, we always do the Basilisk Big Brain bouts, so I can show you guys very quickly who is playing tonight. I went for a bit more community focus since A, we have the Esports World Cup qualifiers coming up, and B, we just had a whole bunch of events, so a lot of the pros are taking a tiny break. But tonight, we are giving away $500 to StarCraft 2 video gamers. Very, very, very low level ZVZ here, but we love it. It's Pi, #1 Basilisk fan. Well, not #1, but #1 Polish Basilisk fan. Let's go with that. Versus Cyril. That's going to be a very fun little ZVZ. After that, we got Poland versus Netherlands. Once more, Aristori versus Hydra. We've got Nicorakt duking it out with Art. And Sword Off versus Moja is going to be our main event. I think that's going to be very fun. So, that's going to do it. I literally have less than 2 hours to get ready for that. So, I'm going to go ahead and take a little break. I'll send you guys over to Wardy, and I'll be back online in like 90 minutes. I really need to get some food, relax, power up. Otherwise, I just have literally nothing to say tonight. And that would be a shame. If we're giving away $500, we better do it with some energy. Take care, guys. Much love. Thank you all for stopping by, and give my love to Wardy. Bye-bye. Peace. Another dub. 5 in a row, baby. We'll take 5 in a row.